I am such an expert, why do I have to take in disciples? Chapter 1. This system is a little trashy. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Boop. As the first rays of light rose, a deep sound sounded from Xiaoran's dantian. He opened his eyes, and two lightning-like purple lights flashed in them as the corners of his mouth curled up. Ha! Finally, I broke through. I heard that the Sect Master is only at the creation realm, and I've already broken through to the shattering void realm. I should be considered the strongest existence in the Heaven Demon Sect, right? Xiaoran was originally not from this world. 10 years ago, he had transmigrated to this strange and mysterious world where the strong were respected. After transmigrating, he realized that he had obtained a system and also became an inner sect elder of the Heaven Demon Sect. He originally thought that he would reach the peak of his life. In the end, it turned out that this system took forever to load. It had been 10 years and it was still loading. Helpless, Xiaoran could only rely on himself. For the past 10 years, he had never left his home or left his home. He cultivated in a low profile and developed steadily. At the same time, he also developed his skills for array formations, pill refinement, weapon refinement, and various other secondary professions related to cultivation. Finally, today, his cultivation level broke through to the shattering void realm and he became the strongest person in the Heaven Demon Sect. Although there were even more powerful existences outside the Heaven Demon Sect, those big shots were even more ignoble. They would casually go into seclusion for hundreds or thousands of years and basically wouldn't come out unless there was something serious. Therefore, he could live a peaceful life in the Heaven Demon Sect. Ding, system loading progress at 100%. Do you want to activate it? Single quote. System. Xiaoran was stunned for a moment before saying. You're late, I've already cultivated to the shattering void realm and become a top-notch expert. A top-notch expert at the shattering void realm? Then what do you consider a martial monarch realm expert? Xiaoran, are you even aware of the supreme realm? Xiaoran, have you experienced the tribulation transcendence realm? Xiaoran, have you heard of the saint realm? Xiaoran, system, stop talking. Activate. Activated successfully. Congratulations to the host for binding the invincible strongest master system. Xiaoran held his chin. Invincible and strongest. It sounds very powerful. Then, system, sign in for me. This system does not have the sign in feature. Oh, so it's a lucky draw. Fine then, give me an SSS level reward or something. Do you have the mastered primordial sacred body? Or perhaps you have something that can help me reach the martial monarch realm? It's also fine if it's a divine artifact. That feature is also not available. Xiaoran fell silent. Then what features do you have? This system is the invincible strongest master system. Its main feature is to take in disciples. Is it too late for me to unbind myself from the system? Once the system is bound, it will be bound for life. Damn you. Xiaoran was so furious that he almost broke down. This system was too despicable. It was one thing for it to only be activated after 10 years, but it was actually a master system that made him take in disciples. What a joke. He had not come this far step by step to become someone's teacher and take in disciples. As if sensing Xiaoran's anger, the system responded again. The mission of this system is to take in disciples. If the disciple increases his or her cultivation, the host will also be able to increase his own cultivation. If the disciple comprehends a cultivation technique, the host will also comprehend the cultivation technique. Hiss. Xiaoran instantly felt his scalp turn numb. Hearing this explanation, he finally understood the meaning of being invincible and strongest. This was simply too monstrous. If he took in a disciple, he would be able to obtain the same results without even cultivating. In this way, what was the point of cultivating? As long as he kept taking in disciples and made these disciples cultivate, he could increase his cultivation level and cultivation technique proficiency without having to put in any work. If he accepted 1 billion disciples, even if they were all ordinary people, as long as they all increased their cultivation by a little, he could instantly progress by a lot. It had to be known that it was probably as difficult as ascending to the heavens for a person to cultivate to the martial monarch realm. Other than having exceptional talent, it also required extremely great luck. However, it was very easy for anyone to cultivate and achieve slight improvements. As if seeing through Xiaoran's thoughts again, the system notified him again. The system doesn't accept trash disciples. It only accepts disciples above the S level. What level does one need to reach to be considered as an S level? At least martial monarch realm. Please unbind me from the system. Martial monarch realm, what a joke. In the entire world, how many people reach the martial monarch realm? In 100,000 or 1,000,000 people, there might not even be one martial monarch realm expert. What was the use of this system? The system hurriedly explained. The system will automatically search for S-level geniuses. The host only needs to take in disciples. Currently, at the foot of the Heaven Demon Sect's mountain, there's an S-level genius. If that's the case, that's fine. Liu Xiaoran reluctantly accepted this system. After all, with his talent and the resources of the Heaven Demon Sect, it was simply wishful thinking for him to find a martial monarch realm expert. He could use this system to nurture some disciples and let them cultivate. In this way, his cultivation could also increase equally. In the future, he might even break through to the martial monarch realm. There was an S-level genius at the foot of the mountain now. He should take him in first. Thinking of this, Liu Xiaoran thought of something and instantly disappeared from his spot. Soon, he arrived at the foot of the Heaven Demon Sect. Today was the day of the Heaven Demon Sect's disciple recruitment. A large number of martial artist newbies had gathered at the foot of the mountain, wanting to become the disciples of the Heaven Demon Sect. After all, the Heaven Demon Sect was one of the top sects in the Great Zhou. The resources inside were so abundant that it made people envious. You're not qualified. Liu Xiaoran had just appeared at the entrance of the mountain when he heard the assessment elder's cold and heartless voice. He followed the other party's gaze and saw a man in black with a pale face and severed meridians. Is this? Liu Xiaoran's eyes moved slightly. As an expert of the Shattering Void realm, he could naturally tell at a glance that the other party's meridians had been shattered by someone else. The other party would never be able to step into the martial path again in his life. However, on his forehead was a huge S. This immediately made Liu Xiaoran feel a headache. Did the system make a mistake? However, soon, the system handed him a document, allowing him to understand the other party's identity. Yun Lia. He was originally a son of the Yun family in Zhongdu. He was talented and intelligent, and his talent and bloodline were even extraordinary. At a young age, he had already stepped into the low-level master realm. Moreover, he had an engagement with the daughter of the Zhong capital's city lord, Zhong Luoyu. It could be said that he was a standard rich second-generation heir. He was young and promising, and everything he could wish for. Logically speaking, his life should have been smooth sailing. In the end, he was defeated by a nobody that Zhong Luoyu liked and even had his meridians broken. The Yun family naturally would not let the matter rest. Their entire family got involved, but they were all wiped out in a single wave. Yun Lia was also expelled from the Zhong capital and was never allowed to enter again. Did this guy provoke a hot shot? The corner of Liu Xiaoran's mouth twitched and he had an inexplicable bad feeling. Chapter 2. Something is wrong with this master. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. System, is he a villain? If I take him in, won't I become enemies with that hotshot in the future? As the saying goes, with risk, comes benefit. Master, don't be afraid. Although the villains have poor luck, this guy's talent is definitely not bad. After all, not everyone is qualified to become a stepping stone for hot shots. What you said makes sense. I'll give you a name. In the future, your name will be Wang Kai. Wang Kai, I can tell that this is a lucky name that will bring me a bright future. Thank you for giving me this name, Master. Liu Xiaoran nodded and walked towards the entrance with his hands behind his back. What Wang Kai said was not unreasonable. A villain who could be stepped on by the protagonist was also not simple. In any case, he only needed to bring him along and let him live an ignoble life in the Heaven Demon Sect to increase his cultivation. If the other party did not cultivate to the limit and did not provoke that hot shot, he would not be in any danger. On Yun Lia's side, he was still somewhat unwilling to accept what had happened. In his life, he had never done anything bad. However, his fiancée had been stolen and his entire family had been destroyed. How could he let such a huge grudge go? Elder, although my meridians have all been severed, I heard that the Heaven Demon Sect has a spirit replenishing pill that can extend one's meridians. It's rare in the world. Therefore, I've specially come to join the Heaven Demon Sect. Elder, please give me a chance. The elder glanced at him and said speechlessly, you also know that that's a rare medicinal pill. How could it be casually given to a new disciple? Leave, stop wasting time. Elder, my talent is not bad. As long as I can repair my meridians, I definitely won't disappoint the sect. How do I know if your talent is good or not? Moreover, the spirit replenishing pill is too precious, so I don't have it. Stop talking and leave quickly. If you don't leave, don't blame me for getting someone to throw you out. Yun Lia clenched his fists tightly, but he was helpless. The status of the Heaven Demon Sect was extraordinary. Even in his previous state, he was not qualified to join, let alone now when he was only a cripple. However, at this moment, a calm voice sounded quietly in his ear. You want to enter the Heaven Demon Sect? Yun Lia was stunned. He turned his head towards the voice and was slightly shocked. The other party was a handsome cultivator. His appearance was refined and his aura was outstanding like an immortal. Before he could react, the elder in charge of the assessment hurriedly ran in front of Liu Xiaoran and bowed. Greetings, Elder Lu. Lu Xiaoran waved his hand, indicating that there was no need for him to be polite. Then, he arrived beside Yun Lia. Why do you want to enter the Heaven Demon Sect? Yun Lia was quick-witted and knew that Lu Xiaoran's status was definitely not low. He immediately lowered his head and cupped his hands. Elder, I want revenge. With your current state, the difficulty you will face if you want to take revenge will probably far exceed your imagination. Yun Lia's gaze was firm, as if flames were burning in it. Even if I have to climb a mountain of blades or enter a sea of flames, I will definitely work hard. Unless I die and my Tao dissipates, I will definitely do all that I can. Lu Xiaoran nodded. That's right. The path of cultivation was long and boring. What one needed was passion and unwavering faith. In that case, are you willing to take me as your master? What? As soon as he said this, everyone was shocked. Everyone could tell that Lu Xiaoran's status was not low. Otherwise, even the assessment elders would not be so polite to him. However, such an expert from the Heaven Demon Sect had actually agreed to take in Yun Lia, whose meridians had been severed, as his disciple. This was simply unbelievable. Just how lucky was this Yun Lia? Yun Lia was not stupid. Without saying a word, he immediately knelt down and worshipped the other party. Disciple Yun Lia greets master. After being successfully acknowledged as the other party's master, a clear female voice sounded in Lu Xiaoran's mind. Ding, congratulations on obtaining your first disciple. You will be rewarded with a Primordial Chaos Emperor scripture and a Primordial Chaos Battle God Spear. Single quote. Lu Xiaoran looked inside and his face twitched. A top-grade martial Monarch realm cultivation technique. And a top-grade martial Monarch realm weapon. Wang Kai had not disappointed him. Even someone like Lu Xiaoran did not have a martial Monarch realm cultivation technique or martial Monarch realm weapon yet. If these two items were released, it would probably immediately cause chaos in the world. Indeed, hacking was 100 times stronger than cultivating. Damn, Lu Xiaoran felt really good. The assessment elder immediately surrounded and dissuaded. Elder Lu, that won't do. His meridians are all broken. If you accept him, it will definitely ruin your reputation. Lu Xiaoran retracted his thoughts and smiled. It's fine, my Zishui Peak also lacks a handyman to clean. Let him clean the place and give him a chance. The assessment elder touched his nose and smiled awkwardly. Since you insist, Elder Lu, then I suppose. I'll help him register now. Yeah, Lu Xiaoran nodded and threw him a small porcelain bottle. Then, he grabbed Yun Lia with one hand and brought him back to Zishui Peak like an eagle holding a chick. The assessment elder opened the porcelain bottle and took a look. He immediately drew a cold breath. Hiss, it's actually a chi-gathering pill. As expected of an inner sect elder, how generous. This is definitely not something us low-level elders can compare to. On the other side, Lu Xiaoran brought Yun Lia back to Zishui Peak before throwing him on the grass. He stood in front of Yun Lia. Although you have acknowledged me as your master, before I officially teach you the cultivation technique, I have to explain some rules to you first. Yun Lia knelt obediently in front of Lu Xiaoran. Please tell me, master. Lu Xiaoran nodded and said, although our Heaven Demon Sect has the word demon in its name, it's not the kind of evil demon sect that kills without batting an eye. Instead, it's a martial arts sect recognized by the great Zhou Empire. The name has the word demon in it just to be domineering. Therefore, firstly, you are not allowed to casually harm ordinary people outside. Secondly, if you encounter evil people who harm others, you have to lend a hand to those being harmed. You have to promote the reputation of my Heaven Demon Sect and help the sect publicize and attract more disciples. Third, in the sect, you have to respect the old and love the young. You have to be a team player and not do anything rash. Fourth, if you encounter anyone who dares to humiliate our Heaven Demon Sect outside, you have to stand up for the sect. You can't let others humiliate the reputation of our sect. These 4 points are the rules of our Heaven Demon Sect. Yes, I'll remember it. Lu Xiaoran nodded in satisfaction again. That's right. Next, I'll tell you the rules of Zishui Peak. Yes, the rules of Zishui Peak are very simple. The key is the word ignoble. Yun Lia could not help but be somewhat dumbfounded. Lu Xiaoran continued. Firstly, except for the first and third rules, you don't have to obey all the rules of the Heaven Demon Sect. Yun Lia. Secondly, we definitely won't take the initiative to provoke trouble. It's best if we don't step out of the range of Zishui Peak. We don't want to compete with anyone, don't casually make friends, and don't casually make enemies. Most importantly, we don't expose our true cultivation. Yun Lia. Third, if someone really provokes us, we have to observe the situation before deciding to attack. The key to this is, it's best for you to run when you're both at the same level. If your opponent is at a lower level, you should directly kill the other party with your ultimate technique. After killing the other party, you have to grind their bones and scatter their ashes. You have to be fast and leave no traces. If you can fight in a group, you shouldn't fight alone. If you can run, it's best not to fight. Chapter 3. This master is unfathomable. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Fourth, if you really encounter any big trouble, such as the ancient family, please don't expose my name and address. Yun Lia's face twitched fiercely. After a while, he finally barely digested the information. Then, he couldn't help but ask carefully. Master, shouldn't martial artists advance courageously and never back down? Lu Xiaoran sneered. Have you been reading too many self-help books? Let me tell you honestly. In this world, the strong are respected. As long as you cultivate step by step, you'll be fine. However, the premise is that you don't encounter an extremely terrifying and unstable existence. As long as you encounter one, even if you are a martial monarch realm expert, you might still die. Hiss. Yun Lia could not help but gasp and widen his eyes. How can there be such an existence in this world? Of course there are, and there are many more. I call them hackers. Hackers, that's right. This so-called hacker might be a peasant boy you look down on, or a handyman beside you. It might even be a guy like you who can't even cultivate. They're usually the most despised and mocked by the human world. However, in fact, their luck is monstrous and far surpasses ordinary people. They can easily find an ancient inheritance just by browsing a street stall. Despite being poor, rich and beautiful girls will still fall madly in love with them. Even if your strength far surpasses theirs and you press on step by step, you still won't be able to beat them. In the end, you will discover that the speed of their growth far exceeds your imagination. By then, it will already be too late. The other party will seek revenge by killing you, and then your parents and your family. In the end, everyone you care for will all be wiped out by him. As the saying goes, when you die, your family gets buried with you. Boom. Hearing this, Yun Lia's mind suddenly trembled violently. His entire body even began to shake uncontrollably. Wasn't his master talking about what had happened to him? That brat was only a brat from a declining family in Zhou City. He did not even have enough money to pay for the tuition fees. He had never thought much of him. In fact, he did not even know that there was someone like him in Zhou City. However, that brat had grown from an unknown junior to an existence that could destroy his entire Yun family. Not only that, but he had also obtained the favor of his fiancée, making a dignified daughter of an aristocratic family fall head over heels for him. Yun Lia racked his brains but could not figure out what had led to this outcome. He did not expect to be enlightened by his master today. An expert, an absolute expert, he had found the right master. Yun Lia knelt upright, his eyes red as he stared fixedly at Lu Xiaoran, his expression extremely excited. Master, you're right, I will definitely abide by your rules. Without your permission, I won't even take half a step out of Zishui Peak. Lu Xiaoran nodded in satisfaction. This disciple was very perceptive. He patted the back of Yun Lia's head. You're indeed promising. In that case, Master can also teach you the cultivation technique without worry. Yun Lia nodded and immediately asked curiously. But Master, my meridians are all broken. Don't you need to help me repair my meridians first? Lu Xiaoran chuckled. Who said that you can't cultivate just because your meridians are broken? The Tao is vast and there are a lot of different techniques. Today, I'll teach you the primordial Chaos Emperor scripture. Cultivate well and it will lead you to a new starting point. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xiaoran flicked his finger and sent the primordial Chaos Emperor scripture into the space between Yun Lia's eyebrows. After receiving the primordial Chaos Emperor scripture, Yun Lia only swept his gaze over it and was immediately shocked until his eyes widened, his face filled with disbelief. Oh my god, Master, this. He was already shocked speechless. If Lu Xiaoran had given him a heaven realm cultivation technique, he might only be excited. However, he would definitely not be frightened. However, Lu Xiaoran actually gave him a martial monarch realm cultivation technique. Was he dreaming? This was a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. A supreme divine technique that could allow one to cultivate to the martial monarch realm. A peerless treasure that even martial monarch realm experts would covet. Was his master really willing to give it to him so easily? Lu Xiaoran glanced at him angrily and said, look at you. It's just a martial monarch realm cultivation technique and you're already so excited. Hurry up and cultivate well. I'll go refine some medicinal pills. Hiss. Yun Lia immediately felt his scalp turn numb, and the hair on his body stood up. It was as if waves of electricity were scraping his skin. He was once again shocked speechless by Lu Xiaoran. A grand martial monarch realm cultivation technique and a rare treasure was actually insignificant to his master. If his master did not even care about martial monarch realm cultivation techniques, then just how powerful was he? Because he was too shocked, he stood rooted to the ground for dozens of seconds. When he reacted, he hurriedly spoke with a serious expression. Master, this is too precious. This is a martial monarch realm cultivation technique. Lu Xiaoran waved his hand and said angrily, stop talking nonsense. As a man, don't waste your breath like a woman. If you want to thank me, cultivate this cultivation technique well and become an expert of a generation, leaving your name in history. That is the best way for you to repay me. Master. Young Leo was touched and speechless from excitement. After a moment, he steadied his mind. Yes, don't worry, Master, I won't disappoint you. Seeing that young Leo was so firm, Lu Xiaoran finally nodded in satisfaction. Then, he turned around and left. Make the best use of your time to cultivate. Also, build a house yourself when you have the time. Yes. After Lu Xiaoran left, young Leo immediately clenched his fists tightly. As he sensed the prestige emitted from the martial monarch realm cultivation technique, hope reignited in his eyes. Dad, Mom, did you see that? Your son has already become a disciple of a Peerless expert. With his guidance, your son will definitely cultivate successfully again. Then, we'll find that bastard and that slut to avenge our humiliation. On this side, after Lu Xiaoran returned to his room, he could no longer maintain his solemn expression. His brows were furrowed tightly and he could not help but feel heartache. That was a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. He had yet to cultivate and was already giving it away. His heart really ached. However, there was nothing he could do about it. He had long used his mental strength to look through it. The prerequisite for cultivating the primordial Chaos Emperor scripture was to remove all his cultivation and then break all the meridians in his body. Only with a meridianless body could he cultivate it. This method was too painful. Lu Xiaoran only took a look and gave up on cultivating it. In any case, he could obtain as much cultivation as Yun Lia obtained. If Yun Lia learned the primordial Chaos Emperor scripture, it meant that he would have also learned it. Yun Lia's talent was not as strong as his, and his cultivation speed was much slower. Nevertheless, it still meant that he did not have to put in any work. Thinking of this, Lu Xiaoran threw the materials into the alchemy furnace and began to refine pills. Chapter 4. The benefits of taking in a disciple are actually so big. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. The path of cultivation and pill refining was long. It might take days or even dozens of days for the pills to be refined. By the time Lu Xiaoran finished refining a furnace of medicinal pills, 7 days had already passed. In the pill furnace, there was a batch of top-notch essence energy pills lying quietly. There were a total of 50 of them, and they were dazzlingly gold. This was a high-grade Earth Realm medicinal pill. It was 2 grades higher than the Qi-gathering pill. Currently, there should not be more than 3 people in the entire Heaven Demon Sect who could refine this medicinal pill. Lu Xiaoran picked up a medicinal pill and threw it into his mouth to taste it. Crack, crack. The pill tasted like crispy chicken. That's right, the purity is as high as 100%. Indeed, I'm a genius. Even without a cheat code, I can still refine an essence energy pill with a purity of 100%. Lu Xiaoran learned everything very quickly. It only took him half a year to learn all the cultivation techniques of the Heaven Demon Sect. Moreover, he had mastered all of them and reached the peak of mastery. However, the highest level cultivation technique of the Heaven Demon Sect was only a Heaven Realm cultivation technique. Therefore, after Lu Xiaoran learned this cultivation technique, he had nothing to do and spent his time learning pill refinement, array formation, weapon refinement, and other secondary professions. In any case, it was not a bad thing for one to have more skills. If there were no hackers in this world, Lu Xiaoran was confident that he would 100% be the protagonist. After all of this was obtained by him through his own hard work. After eating the essence energy pill, Lu Xiaoran circulated his spirit energy and suddenly felt that something was wrong in his body. Why has my cultivation increased by so much? Cultivation techniques, pill refinement, weapon refinement, and array formations could all increase one's cultivation. Among them, cultivation techniques increased one's cultivation the fastest, and refinement techniques were relatively slow. However, Lu Xiaoran's current cultivation had already reached the first level of the Shattering Void Realm and was at 40%. It had to be known that in just a short 7 days, his cultivation breakthrough speed had already gotten much faster. Moreover, he had only been refining pills these 7 days and had not circulated his cultivation technique at all. How could his cultivation increase by so much? Wait, Lu Xiaoran suddenly thought of Yun Lia. After all, an increase in Yun Lia's cultivation meant an increase in his cultivation. Could it be because of him? Wang Kai, Master, I'm here. What level has Yun Lia cultivated to? I'm currently generating Yun Lia's characteristic panel for Master. Soon, a screen appeared in Lu Xiaoran's mind. Name, Yun Lia. Gender, male. Cultivation technique, Primordial Chaos Emperor Scripture. Current cultivation progress. Level 1. Cultivation. Perfected 10th level Conate Realm. Are you kidding me? Xiaoran could not help but roar. He had already perfected the 10th level of the Conate Realm. Was there a mistake? After all, cultivation was not easy. Why was it as easy as drinking water for Yunlia? Yunlia's talent should not be stronger than his own. Moreover, the Primordial Chaos Emperor Scripture had a total of 10 levels. He had only cultivated to the first level and had 9 more to go. Seemingly sensing Xiaoran's shock and confusion, Wang Kai explained. What Yunlia cultivates is a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. Compared to the cultivation technique Master previously cultivated, it's of a higher realm. It's very normal for one's cultivation speed to be faster during the first few levels. If it were Master who cultivated the Primordial Chaos Emperor Scripture, you would be able to advance from an ordinary person to the perfected 10th level of the Conate Realm in just 2 hours. Xiaoran's face could not help but twitch fiercely. The strength of a hacker was indeed monstrous. He had cultivated so hard every day. Despite his outstanding talent, it had still taken him 2 months to reach the perfected 10th level of the Conate Realm. On the other hand, Yunlia had accomplished this in 7 days. Fortunately, he was the one who helped Yunlia hack. Otherwise, he would have definitely killed Yunlia now to prevent any future trouble. However, this was also a good thing. This was because the more Yunlia cultivated, the higher his own gains would be. He looked at Yunlia's characteristic panel again and suddenly realized that there were many small gift bags below. Wang Kai, what's this? Master, this is an advancement gift bag. Every time the disciple advances by a realm level, you will get a small gift bag. Every time they advance by an entire realm, you will get a big gift bag. Currently, Yunlia has advanced past the 3 realms of body tempering, postnatal, and conate. Between these 3 realms are also 30 realm levels. There are a total of 3 big gifts and 30 small gifts. Quote. Xiaoran was speechless again. There were even gifts. This was too much. How could those who relied on themselves to cultivate live? Originally, without Wang Kai, Xiaoran thought that he was already blessed by the heavens by being a genius. By then, he already felt that it was very unfair to ordinary martial artists. However, after meeting Wang Kai, he realized what it meant to be truly despicable. Taking a deep breath, Xiaoran opened a small gift bag. It's just a small gift bag. It should only be a small gift, right? High-grade Earth Realm Essence Energy Pill X100. Quote. There must be a mistake. Again, Xiaoran opened another small gift bag. Top-grade Heaven Realm Cultivation Technique, Thunderbolt Fist X1. Xiaoran, Wang Kai, come out. Coming. What are your instructions, Master? Did you give me the wrong gift bag? Is this really a small gift bag? Quote. Do you have to put so many things in a small gift bag? Did you know that even as the #1 genius of my Heaven Demon Sect, I had to spend an entire 7 days just to refine 50 Essence Energy pills? I've already wrapped them in the smallest amount. Xiaoran, actually, why didn't you just give him something bigger? You should have directly gifted me 100,000 years of cultivation and made me ascend and attain eternity. Why would you still want me to take in disciples? I would do that if I could. The problem is that if I don't use this method, I won't be able to generate rewards. Get lost. Alright. After Wang Kai disappeared, Xiaoran opened the small gift bag one by one and obtained a large number of precious medicinal pills, magic weapons, and cultivation techniques. The 3 gift bags were even more abnormal. Top-grade Martial Monarch Realm Cultivation Technique, Azure Thirk Longevity Art. Top-grade Martial Monarch Realm Formation, 8 trigrams Heaven Sealing Formation. Top-grade Martial Monarch Realm Formation, Purple Heaven Divine Lightning Formation. Too much. This was too much. Wasn't this too abnormal? How can the cultivators in this world who work hard endure this? Forget it, there's nothing I can do about it. I suppose these are the burdens of a lucky man. I'll reluctantly accept these things. After receiving the items, Xiaoran thought of the disciple he obtained with no effort. Let's go and take a look at Yunlia first. Isn't this brat cultivating too hard? After 7 days and nights, he cultivated to the perfected 10th level of the Conate Realm. Could he have suddenly died? Thinking of this, Xiaoran quickly walked out of his alchemy room and arrived at the place where Yunlia was. From afar, he saw Yunlia sitting cross-legged on a huge rock. It was as if he had formed a small black hole vortex, absorbing the surrounding heaven and earth spirit energy into his body endlessly. His speed was so terrifying that it was shocking. Chapter 5. The Might of the Martial Monarch Realm Formation Calls the Power of Heaven and Earth. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. The speed at which Yunlia absorbed the spirit energy became faster and faster. Finally, when this speed reached a critical point, a popping sound suddenly sounded from Yunlia's dantian. This meant that Yunlia had officially broken through to the first level of the Master Realm. I broke through again. Lu Xiaoran was somewhat speechless. At this moment, Yunlia also opened his eyes. Two bright lights shone out like cold lights, shocking everyone. Master. Seeing Lu Xiaoran, Yunlia was happy. He immediately stood up and jumped down from the huge rock. He arrived beside Lu Xiaoran and knelt down. Lia will never forget Master's kindness. These were Yunlia's heartfelt words. Before meeting Lu Xiaoran, although he had dreams of revenge, he also knew that it was almost impossible. His meridians had been severed. Even if he repaired them, it was impossible for him to have the talent he had before, let alone catch up to that guy. But now, after becoming Lu Xiaoran's disciple, not only could he cultivate again, but he had also returned to the Master Realm in such a short period of time. This was simply a favor that could not be compared to the grace of rebirth. Lu Xiaoran patted his shoulder and coughed lightly. No need to be so polite. This is all because of your hard work. Yunlia said sincerely, no, this is all thanks to Master for giving me a new life. Get up, it's enough for me that you think that way. Yes, Yunlia stood up. Lu Xiaoran swept his gaze over him and finally understood why he had broken through to the Master Realm in such a short period of time. Yunlia originally had the strength of a Master Realm expert. Although his meridians had been broken and his dantian had been shattered, his foundation as a Master Realm expert was still there. Therefore, he had recovered to the first level of the Master Realm in such a short period of time. Otherwise, even with a martial Monarch Realm cultivation technique, it would be impossible for him to reach the first level of the Master Realm in such a short period of time. At most, he would be able to break through to the Connate Realm. However, if he continued to cultivate, his speed would be much slower. Firstly, he did not have the support of his foundation. Secondly, although a martial Monarch Realm cultivation technique was very powerful and could allow him to advance by leaps and bounds in the early stages, the later stages still depended on one's talent. A martial Monarch Realm cultivation technique was not omnipotent. It only provided a platform for people. Whether one could reach that step or not, hard work, luck, talent, and so on were all indispensable. Lu Xiaoran took out a few bottles of essence energy pills from his storage ring. There were more than 1,000 of them, and he threw them to Yunlia. Take these pills and use them to help you cultivate. Hiss. Yunlia immediately couldn't help but gasp. This was actually an essence energy pill. Moreover, there were more than 1,000 of them. His master was indeed a peerless expert. It had to be known that he had only consumed a single essence energy pill in his life. Moreover, it was something his father had spent a huge price to obtain at the Zhong City auction house. At that time, the Yun family had spent nearly half a month's expenses. Moreover, the purity of that essence energy pill was far inferior to these essence energy pills. However, his master had casually taken out so many pure essence energy pills. It was simply unimaginable for Yunlia. However, thinking that his master did not even care about the martial Monarch Realm cultivation technique, Yunlia felt that this gift paled in comparison. After Lu Xiaoran handed over the medicinal pill, he continued. Technique is not about intensity but essence. You broke through to the body refining realm, the postnatal realm, and the connate realm in one go by relying on the foundation you had previously accumulated and the strength of a top-grade martial Monarch Realm cultivation technique. However, you shouldn't be greedy and advance rashly. This is because in the following realms, not only do you have to cultivate, but you also have to break through to the spirit realm, the mountain sea realm, the soul refinement realm, the void reversion realm, the creation realm, the shattering void realm, the essence realm, the king realm, the emperor realm, the supreme realm, the saint realm, and the martial monarch realm. Otherwise, if you're careless, it's very likely that you'll go crazy. Yes, I'll do as you say. It's just nice. I also want to build a residence for myself. Lu Xiaoran nodded. Lu Xiaoran nodded and said, in that case, choose a place to build your residence. I also want to repair the array formation on this Sishui peak. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xiaoran turned around and left. Yunlia hurriedly said, Master, I can help you. You're not qualified. Lu Xiaoran left behind these three words indifferently, causing Yunlia's face to twitch violently. He could only smile awkwardly. Thinking about it, it made sense. What kind of expert was his master? How could he help with the array formation that he wanted to set up with his insignificant cultivation? However, in an instant, Yunlia's mood recovered. His gaze became firm and spirited. Without Master, I definitely wouldn't have been able to take revenge in my life. However, with Master's guidance, I have absolute confidence in taking revenge. However, what Master said is very reasonable. That bastard's luck is extraordinary. Before my strength reaches a sufficient level, I definitely can't casually deal with him. Otherwise, I might still be killed. I have to keep a low profile and cultivate diligently. When my cultivation reaches a sufficient level, I will definitely kill him. I'll set a small goal first. In 10 years, I'll catch up to master. On Lu Xiaoran's side, he naturally did not know what Yun Liu was thinking. The reason why he said that Yun Liu was not qualified was because he was prepared to set up the top-grade martial monarch realm formation he had just obtained. Before this, his highest level formation was only an Earth Realm array formation. Array formations, medicinal pills, magic weapons, and a series of other grades ranged from low to high. They were Yellow Realm, Profound Realm, Earth Realm, Heaven Realm, Saint Realm, and Martial Monarch Realm. Every realm was divided into 4 grades: top, high, mid, and low. Previously, he had set up 8 top-grade Earth Realm array formations on Zishui Peak, which was equivalent to a high-grade Heaven Realm array. This array formation could even defend against a shattering Void Realm expert. However, Lu Xiaoran was still a little worried. After all, there was already a hacker in his world. It was the guy who had defeated Yun Liu. Lu Xiaoran did not dare to be careless against those legendary hotshots. Therefore, the Martial Monarch Realm array formation had to be arranged. Dang, Kun, Kan, Li. He set the formation core one by one and put in the spirit stones to construct the foundation of the entire formation. Then, Lu Xiaoran formed a seal with his fingers. 8 trigrams heaven sealing formation, activate. With a shout, the grand array was suddenly activated. In an instant, wind and clouds surged as lightning flashed. The sky also started to darken. Boom! The spirit energy on the ground seemed to have been summoned for some reason as it gathered crazily towards the Heaven Demon Sect from all directions. This scene immediately alarmed the higher-ups and elders of the Heaven Demon Sect. Everyone soared out of their rooms and looked at the sky, their hearts trembling. It's the might of the heavens. How did our Heaven Demon Sect cause the descent of the might of the heavens? Who is behind all of this? Chapter 6. SS Level Disciple. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Could it be the Grand Elder of our Heaven Demon Sect? That's right, the Grand Elder must have made a breakthrough. Other than him, it's impossible for anyone else to have such ability. As soon as he finished speaking, a majestic aura exploded from the depths of the Heaven Demon Sect. Almost the moment the aura appeared, a figure flew over quickly. Greetings, Grand Elder. The higher-ups of the Heaven Demon Sect immediately bowed. The Heaven Demon Sect's Grand Elder said with confusion and shock, "Who is it? Who triggered this heavenly might?" Everyone was stunned and asked in disbelief. "Elder, didn't you trigger this heavenly might?" The Grand Elder shook his head repeatedly. "How could I possibly trigger this heavenly might? My cultivation level is only at the Shattering Void Realm. I'm far from qualified to trigger the heavenly might." Hiss. Everyone immediately felt their scalps turn numb. The one who triggered the heavenly might was actually not the Grand Elder of the Heaven Demon Sect. Who else could it be? Could there be a Peerless expert hidden in the Heaven Demon Sect? How come they never knew? Actually, it was no wonder they were unable to sense it. The 8 trigrams Heaven Sealing Formation was a top-grade Martial Monarch Realm formation to begin with. Although it was only restricted by Lu Xiaoran to Zishui Peak, its pressure was enough to easily cover the entire Heaven Demon Sect. Therefore, even if everyone racked their brains, they were still unable to find the exact location of the 8 trigrams Sky Sealing Formation. Lu Xiaoran was also somewhat surprised. He had never expected that a top-grade Martial Monarch Realm formation could actually activate the heavenly might. It was as if even the heavens did not allow such a formation to be easily formed. Therefore, it kept sending down its might in an attempt to destroy the grand formation. However, the 8 trigrams Heaven Sealing Formation was unwilling to give up at all. It also emitted its own pressure and condensed the power of the earth to resist the heavenly might. The two fought, and the world darkened. At this moment, all the living beings seemed to have become ants and spectators. They could only look up at the battle between the two and were unable to interfere at all. Finally, the heavenly might emitted a world-shaking thunder sound and slowly dissipated. The 8 trigrams Heaven Sealing Formation had forced back the heavenly might within Martial Monarch Realm aura. This made Lu Xiaoran extremely shocked. This was only an array formation, but because it had reached the Martial Monarch Realm, it was able to resist the heavens. Then just how terrifying would a true Martial Monarch Realm expert be? At this moment, Lu Xiaoran suddenly wanted to take in a few more disciples and step into the Martial Monarch Realm as soon as possible. Unfortunately, disciples could not be obtained immediately. Forget it, I can't rush it for now. I should cultivate the Azure Theurk longevity art first. Lu Xiaoran shook his head and set up a stone tablet at the edge of Zishui Peak. In the forbidden area of Zishui Peak, anyone who entered would risk their lives. Then, he turned around and returned to his room to enter seclusion. He did not set up the other top-grade Martial Monarch Realm formation, the Purple Heaven Divine Lightning formation. The martial Monarch realm formation was already powerful enough to resist even the attacks of martial Monarch realm experts. The 8 trigrams sky ceiling formation was enough to protect Zishui Peak. Moreover, the purple heaven divine lightning formation was incomparably dangerous. Once it was activated, all the living beings within the entire array would be destroyed by the divine lightning. The killing aura was too heavy and was not suitable for setting up in one's own lair. Of course, the most important reason was the spirit stones. Wang Kai's gift bag did not have a single spirit stone. Moreover, setting up the martial Monarch realm formation required a lot of energy. The 8 trigrams heaven ceiling formation had already drained all of Lu Xiaoran's savings for more than a decade. As the saying went, a capable housewife cannot cook without rice. Even though Lu Xiaoran had the martial Monarch realm formation, he was still helpless. After returning to his room, Lu Xiaoran made a seal and directly announced that he was going into seclusion to cultivate his cultivation technique. The Azure Theurk Longevity Art was an extremely powerful martial Monarch realm cultivation technique. In terms of combat, its strength was rich and pure, and its output was endless. It could maximize the lethality of one's attack. In terms of replenishment, its absorption speed was stronger than other cultivation techniques of the same level. It could even be said to be the most outstanding. Moreover, it had an extremely special and powerful effect. It could quickly repair the injuries on one's body. It had to be known that only those with the strength of a martial Monarch realm expert could survive from a heavily injured body. After all, they could use cultivation techniques to treat their injuries before being able to regrow their bodies. Now, after cultivating the Azure Theurk Longevity Art, Lu Xiaoran already had the means to recover his body. It took him 3 days to cultivate the Azure Theurk Longevity Art and reach the perfected level. This speed was rather terrifying. It had to be known that Yunlia had only cultivated about a tenth of the primordial Chaos Emperor scripture and had yet to completely master it. On the other hand, Lu Xiaoran had already perfected the Azure Theurk Longevity Art in just 3 days. After that, he cultivated the Azure Theurk Longevity Art for another month. Time passed quickly. Finally, after a month of bitter cultivation, Lu Xiaoran's cultivation broke through to another level. He woke up from his cultivation. Not only was his eyes not tired at all, but they were also filled with vitality and essence. This Azure Theurk Longevity Art is indeed powerful. If it were the Heaven Realm cultivation technique of the Heaven Demon Sect, with my strength that has just broken through to the Shattering Void Realm, it would probably take me at least half a year to break through. However, now, I've already broken through to the 2nd level of the Shattering Void Realm. This cultivation speed is indeed heaven-defying. It had to be known that the higher one's cultivation was, the harder it was to break through. Even though Lu Xiaoran was a top-notch genius and could quickly comprehend the cultivation technique, he was still unable to change it. He still needed to abide by the Heaven Dao rules and take it step by step. However, the martial Monarch realm cultivation technique had shortened his time by about 6 times. Its terrifying degree simply made people fearful. However, before he could enjoy the sense of accomplishment from cultivating hard and breaking through, a popping sound sounded from his dantian again. He had broken through again. He had reached the 3rd level of the Shattering Void Realm. Lu Xiaoran was somewhat dumbfounded. What was going on? Why had he broken through again in such a short period of time? However, he quickly thought of something. Wang Kai. Coming, I'm here, master. Show me Yunlia's information panel. Yes, I'm currently generating Yunlia's information panel. Name, Yunlia. Gender, male. Cultivation technique. Primordial Chaos Emperor scripture, cultivated to the 2nd level. Cultivation. 10th level of the Master Realm, peak perfection. Indeed, I knew it. Lu Xiaoran was somewhat speechless. He had cultivated painstakingly for a month in exchange for him to break through to the 2nd level of the Shattering Void Realm. He did not expect Yunlia to contribute another level of cultivation to him. Wang Kai, if you do this, I'll gradually lose the motivation to cultivate. Master, after being bound to me, you don't need to cultivate anymore. You just need to take in disciples. Lu Xiaoran rubbed his temples and said helplessly, aren't you basically robbing me of my happiness? Wang Kai detected an SS-level disciple. Do you want to recruit her? Chapter 7, Princess of the Great Zhou. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Yes, Master, don't you want to be happy? My happiness is unimportant. Teaching and nurturing people is a big matter. In order to nurture better talent, I should put my personal happiness behind me. Wang Kai, where's the SS-level disciple? At the Great Zhou's Purple Peace Imperial Palace. Lu Xiaoran, Wang Kai, that's too far away. I don't want to go. The mountains are high and the rivers are long. What if I encounter any trouble or powerful enemies and die? If Master doesn't want to go, there are other ways to do it. After all, she's only an SS-level disciple, I can use soul guidance. Once soul guidance is activated, I can attract her to the Heaven Demon Sect. In that case, Master can recruit her. Then let's activate soul guidance. Alright, Master. A few days later, 100 miles away from the Heaven Demon Sect, two beautiful figures flew over quickly like two streams of light. Princess Wuxia, slow down. We're not far from the Heaven Demon Sect. However, this did not slow the other party down. Granny Li, I can't stop. A voice told me that I have to go to the Heaven Demon Sect. There's an opportunity there that can change my fate. Missing this opportunity will be my life's regret. Granny Li sighed faintly, and her eyes could not help but reveal a trace of heartache. As the illegitimate daughter of the Imperial Palace, Ji Wuxia was 100 times more hardworking than any prince or princess in the Imperial Palace. In order to live up to her status as a princess, she had worked hard all the time. The hard work she had put in had finally paid off. She was gradually recognized by the people of the Imperial Palace. Originally, as long as she did this, she would one day shed her ugly duckling appearance and become a true princess of the great Zhou Empire's Purple Peace Imperial Palace. However, the appearance of that matter instantly destroyed all her efforts. Overnight, she became the laughingstock of the entire Imperial Palace. However, she was not defeated. Instead, she worked even harder. Other than eating, she cultivated, and cultivated every day. Even a man might not be able to do this. Moreover, she was only a delicate girl. She originally did not have to work so hard. Even though she was mocked by everyone in the Imperial Palace, she was still the daughter of the Purple Peace Imperial Palace. There were still countless young geniuses in the Great Zhou who wanted to pursue her. However, she still worked hard. She fought hard to prove the others wrong. The two of them rushed forward and quickly arrived at the Heaven Demon Sect. Because of their strength, the two of them did not stop at the mountain gate. Instead, they directly flew past the mountain gate and entered the Heaven Demon Sect. The two of them did not inform the Heaven Demon Sect. Although the entire Heaven Demon Sect would definitely respectfully welcome her in with her identity as the princess of the Great Zhou, they still decided to go in secretly. After all, they were worried that the senior would be angry at them for making a scene. Since he could travel such a long distance to convey his faith, it must be because he did not want others to know about this. Miss, there are so many peaks in the Heaven Demon Sect. Do you know which peak it is? Wuxia closed her eyes and calmly listened to the voice in her heart. In the end, she opened her eyes and flew in a direction. The old nanny followed closely behind. The two of them quickly arrived at Zishui Peak. Zishui Peak. The old nanny frowned slightly and said, Princess, before I came, I investigated the Heaven Demon Sect. Zishui Peak is an extremely ordinary peak among the 320 peaks of the Heaven Demon Sect. Not only that, the peak master of Zishui Peak, Xiaoran, is also an extremely ordinary cultivator. Perhaps his cultivation is even lower than yours. Despite this, Ji Wuxia still responded with a firm gaze. It's here, it must be here. I sense that the person who called me is on this mountain. Alright, in that case, I'll accompany Miss. In any case, with her cultivation, protecting the princess was not a problem. The two of them could sense that Zishui Peak was protected by an array formation, so they did not fly from the sky. Although they were not afraid of the Heaven Demon Sect, it was still not worth it to provoke them. As soon as they landed, the two of them noticed the inscription Xiaoran had set. The forbidden area of Zishui Peak. No one is allowed to enter. Enter at your own risk. After reading it softly, Granny Li couldn't help but shake her head and smile. This peak master of Zishui Peak, what an arrogant tone. A mere peak master actually dares to say such arrogant words. Perhaps it was Lord Lu Feng who established it for the disciples of the Heaven Demon Sect. Ji Wuxia said indifferently, and Granny Li retracted her smile. That's right, no matter how poor this peak master Lu's cultivation is, he's still a respectable figure in the Heaven Demon Sect. To those Heaven Demon Sect disciples, he's not someone they can casually provoke. However, to people of our level, his prohibition seems like a joke. Ji Wuxia nodded. Although that's the case, we're still the ones who are trespassing on other people's territory. Granny Li, remember not to injure anyone. You also can't bully others just because I'm the princess of the Purple Peace Imperial Palace. Granny Li did not know whether to laugh or to cry. Got it, my little princess. However, she also felt very impressed. Although Ji Wuxia pursued strength, her nature was not bad. She would not bully others because of her status. This was very rare for a person with an extremely high status and strength. Ji Wuxia was the first to step into the array formation. Granny Li followed closely behind. As soon as the two of them stepped into the array, Xiaoran instantly sensed them. The 8 trigram sky ceiling formation was controlled by his thoughts and had naturally become a part of him. Hey, someone really came knocking on my door. Wang Kai, this soul guidance of yours is quite useful. It's like a radio. Give me a copy of her information and let me see who she is. Coming. Wang Kai immediately produced a document for Lu Xiaoran to check. Ji Wuxia, at the peak of the spirit realm. An illegitimate daughter of the Purple Peace Imperial Palace of the Great Zhou Empire. When she was young, she wandered among the commoners and was engaged to a young man. After that, she was found by King Purple Peace and her identity and status changed drastically. The Purple Peace Imperial Palace forcefully ordered Ji Wuxia to cancel the engagement. Unexpectedly, 3 years later, the other party came to challenge Ji Wuxia and defeated her, making Ji Wuxia become the laughingstock of the Imperial Palace. Why is this plot so familiar? Wang Kai, this is another villain, right? I beg you to show mercy. Can't you find a hotshot for me? Master, all the hotshots are arrogant and rebellious. It's impossible for them to stay under others for long. Even if they enter the sect, they will definitely surpass you in the future. Master, are you willing to be a dog? No, it's better for you to be the dog. Lu Xiaoran would rather kill himself than to become a dog for those brainless, self-righteous protagonists. After Ji Wuxia and Granny Li stepped into the array formation, they were no longer disturbed by external forces. There were also no traps or attack formations. Even with their martial artist's sixth sense, they could not sense any danger. They could not help but feel somewhat speechless towards Lu Xiaoran's inscription. I originally thought that the Peak Master of Zishui Peak would set up 1 or 2 array formations. Now, it seems that I'm thinking too highly of him. Ji Wuxia smiled faintly and said, Granny Li, this place is not like our Imperial Palace. The Heaven Demon Sect is very small and lacks resources. There's no need to build any array formations in the sect. That's true. After a while, the two of them gradually felt that something was wrong. They were indeed walking. The scenery around them was also gradually regressing. However, according to the strength of their feet, they should have reached the peak long ago. In reality, the two of them were still at the foot of the mountain. Princess, something's wrong. Granny Li, whose cultivation level had reached the creation realm, was the first to discover the abnormality. Chapter 8. I will make the decision in my territory. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Hearing Granny Li say this, Ji Wuxia's heart trembled as she also felt that something was wrong. It does seem to be the case. We seem to still be at the foot of the mountain, but the problem is that I was actually unable to sense it just now. It was as if everything was normal. The two of them looked at each other and had an idea. They were trapped in the array formation. A moment later, Granny Li's eyes were filled with seriousness. Logically speaking, even an ordinary person would be able to see through such a simple situation with a single glance. However, I actually spent half a day trying to figure out the mystery behind this. Not only that, the princess only noticed this situation after I gave her some pointers. Not only is this place able to confuse people, but it's also able to affect mental strength and thoughts. What a powerful illusion formation. Ji Wuxia's expression was also somewhat solemn. Looks like we've underestimated this Peak Master of Zishui Peak. However, this also means that there might indeed be a huge opportunity hidden on Zishui Peak. Very good. Granny Li nodded and said, Princess, retreat to the side. Wait for me to attack and break this illusion array. Alright. Ji Wuxia retreated to the side. Granny Li shouted lightly and circulated her cultivation technique. In an instant, the surrounding spirit energy surged and was crazily absorbed into her body. Then, with a soft shout, she struck out with one palm. Mountain-splitting palm. Ha! With a palm strike, a violent wind like a dragon tore the surrounding air, emitting an ear-piercing whistle. If this palm landed on the ground, without much judgment, it would definitely be able to shatter the rocks in a radius of 100 meters. However, the palm wind did not do anything at all. It was as if it had silently fused into the air, never existing at all. What? Their pupils constricted as a cold aura surged from their feet to their heads. Was this an illusion formation? Could it be that this had already surpassed the scope of the illusion array? The other party could even directly digest an attack. In fact, the 8 trigrams sky ceiling formation was indeed not an illusionary formation. It condensed the power of the 8 trigrams and transformed it into earth, water, wind, and fire. As long as one entered it, they would be directly sealed in place. Be it movement or attack, they would all be sealed in this small world. Their strength was not enough to surpass the array formation, so they were unable to escape at all. Granny Li wiped the cold sweat from her forehead and forced herself to calm down. Princess, don't be afraid. No matter how powerful this array formation is, it's only the Heaven Demon Sect's array formation. Among the Heaven Demon Sect, the strongest is only at the Shattering Void Realm. How can it be compared to our Grand Zhou Empire's Purple Peace Imperial Palace? I will definitely be able to break this array formation. Good luck, Granny Li. After a while, Granny Li's face was as pale as wax. Ji Wuxia also had a look of despair. Nothing worked. Be it attack or escape, even if Granny Li used the secret escape technique of Purple Peace Imperial Palace, she was still unable to escape from this array formation. What was even more terrifying was that she was unable to use the secret treasure her father had gifted her to send a message and ask for his help. They had been completely trapped in this small world. If they had known that this array formation was so terrifying, they wouldn't have dared to casually enter. Just as they were in despair, an unfamiliar voice sounded from the mountain. Are you done playing? The two of them were stunned and looked up towards the voice. They saw Lu Xiaoran walk over with his hands behind his back. What? The two of them trembled, and their eyes revealed dense shock and vigilance. This array formation was so powerful that even a Grand Creation Realm expert like Granny Li was unable to break through it. Yet, Lu Xiaoran could actually walk freely in the array formation. Princess, be careful, this person's cultivation is extremely powerful. Granny Li protected Ji Wuxia behind her and Lu Xiaoran had already arrived. What do you want to do? Lu Xiaoran swept his gaze over her and looked at Ji Wuxia behind her. You came to my territory and asked me what I wanted to do. Don't be rash, we only trespassed here by accident. Moreover, we're from the Great Zhou's Purple Peace Imperial Palace. If you dare to touch a single hair of ours, you won't be able to bear the consequences. Granny Li berated angrily. Lu Xiaoran frowned and slapped her. Bang! The huge palm force directly sent Granny Li flying and smashed fiercely onto a huge rock not far away, shattering it. Lu Xiaoran hated wasting time. He would waste his breath if the matter could be resolved with a slap. Granny Li, Ji Wuxia exclaimed and immediately cupped his hands towards Lu Xiaoran. Senior, the two of us have offended you. Senior, please be magnanimous. I'm willing to compensate you. Lu Xiaoran's expression was calm. This girl's temper was not bad. However, he had to show her something and let her know how powerful he was. Otherwise, she might not be willing to take him as her master later. Make your move. Ji Wuxia was stunned and was somewhat puzzled. Lu Xiaoran's words sounded again. Do what I told you to or I'll kill you. Then please excuse me for my offenses. Ji Wuxia hesitated for a moment, gritted her teeth, and took out a mid-grade Heaven Realm sword. With a cold flash, she prepared to stab Lu Xiaoran. However, Lu Xiaoran only used 2 fingers to easily grab the tip of her sword. This move was naturally within Ji Wuxia's expectations. Since Lu Xiaoran was able to instantly defeat a Creation Realm expert like Granny Li, it was naturally impossible for H4er, a mere Spirit Realm expert, to easily injure him. Therefore, the moment Lu Xiaoran grabbed the tip of the sword, Ji Wuxia also suddenly took out a medicinal pill covered in blue runes from her storage bag. Roar! After crushing the medicinal pill, an electric arc appeared, instantly causing the surrounding lightning to explode. Lightning filled the area within 100 meters. Booms sounded like the roars of birds. This was a protective Dharma treasure that only the princes and princesses of the Purple Peace Imperial Palace would have, a high-grade Heaven Realm Thunder Pill. Once it was crushed, it would unleash a full-power attack that was comparable to the peak of the Essence Realm within 100 meters. This attack should be enough to cause fatal damage to Lu Xiaoran, right? However, before the lightning dissipated, Ji Wuxia heard the other party's voice again. Tisk tisk, a high-grade Heaven Realm Lightning Shock Pill. As expected of the princess of the Purple Peace Imperial Palace. What? Ji Wuxia's pupils constricted, and the hair on his entire body stood on end. How is this possible? Even the lightning shock pill could not injure the other party. Just how powerful was this person? Wasn't this the Heaven Demon Sect? Wasn't the strongest expert of the Heaven Demon Sect only at the Shattering Void Realm? The other party was actually able to resist a full power attack comparable to a peak level Essence Realm expert. In fact, in this array formation, unless one had the strength to break the array formation, it was simply a fool's dream to injure Lu Xiaoran. A moment later, the lightning completely dissipated, and Lu Xiaoran's figure appeared in her eyes again. He was completely unharmed. Ji Wuxia completely collapsed. In the next second, before she could react, Lu Xiaoran raised his middle finger and knocked her little head. My turn. Bang! A huge force landed on her head, making Ji Wuxia's eyes turn white before she fainted. Lu Xiaoran was stunned and touched his nose awkwardly. I just broke through 2 realms in a row. My strength has become too much. I couldn't control my strength for a moment. After a pause, he shook his head again. Forget it, I can't let her become my disciple in this array anyway. I'll bring her back first. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xiaoran wrapped his arm around Ji Wuxia's waist. Just as he was about to leave, he swept his gaze over to Granny Li who was not far away. His large hand reached out, grabbed Granny Li's shoulder, and flew up the mountain. Chapter 9. Gamble. Translator. Atlas Studios editor, Atlas Studios. Lu Xiaoran quickly brought the two of them to the top of the mountain. Young Leah had just finished cultivating when he walked out of his room and saw his master. He was holding a young beauty in one hand and an old nanny in the other. This made his face somewhat strange for a moment. His master actually had such a hobby. Wasn't this a little too inhumane? It was really not something a gentleman would do. However, the other party was his master and had done him a huge favor. It was not appropriate for him to say anything. Greetings, master. Young Leah bowed and Lu Xiaoran nodded. Perfect, I'll leave this old one to you. Ah, master, I can't. There's nothing wrong with that. Master trusts you. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xiaoran threw Granny Li in front of Young Leah and entered his room with Ji Wuxia. Young Leah looked at the old nanny in front of him, his face dark. He was already ashamed of his master for asking him to do such an indecent thing to a woman. However, he had already decided to overlook that. However, now, his master actually gave him the old one. Her face was filled with wrinkles. Just looking at her made him want to vomit. How was he supposed to do that kind of thing with her? Heavens, he would probably have nightmares for the rest of his life. However, Young Leah suddenly slapped himself. Young Leah, how could you think this way? Master is your benefactor. He gave you a martial monarch realm cultivation technique to allow you to step onto the path of cultivation again. Now, he has only asked you to do it with her. Are you going to refuse? Are you still human? Are you worthy of Master's painstaking nurturing? Moreover, isn't she just a little old? It's the same as long as I cover her face and turn off the lights. Then, he walked to Granny Li and looked at her old face. Ah, I can't take it, In fact, Lu Xiaoran did not want him to do anything to her. He only wanted Young Leah to look after Granny Li. At this moment, he came to his room and gave Ji Wuxia a medicinal pill, allowing her to quickly wake up. Ji Wuxia swayed and opened her eyes. When she saw Lu Xiaoran's face so close to her heart could not help but beat faster. There were thousands of good-looking men, but very few that were especially good-looking. However, Ji Wuxia was only stunned for less than a second before she immediately reacted. This man was not only good-looking, but he was also an extremely dangerous person. Thinking of this, Ji Wuxia hurriedly got up and knelt down to Lu Xiaoran. Senior, please calm down. Forgive me for trespassing into your territory. Lu Xiaoran glanced at her and said indifferently, you sure have some brains. You didn't use your status to shout at me. Ji Wuxia's face was somewhat red. I wanted to increase my strength, but I had no way to do so. I had no choice but to come to Zishui Peak. Now that I've disturbed Senior, I'm at your mercy. Then commit suicide. Ah, Ji Wuxia immediately widened her eyes. She did not expect Lu Xiaoran to make such a request. What, you don't dare to commit suicide? Then what do you think we should do? Ji Wuxia's delicate body trembled. The other party knew her identity and still dared to make such a request. He was probably not afraid of the Purple Peace Imperial Palace. It seemed that she had really stirred up trouble this time. Ji Wuxia was very regretful, but she did not blame Lu Xiaoran because she was the one who had intruded into his territory. However, from now on, she could no longer work hard to pursue the great Dao she wanted. Senior, is there really no way for me to remedy this? Lu Xiaoran did not answer and only looked at her coldly. Previously, in the array formation, he had tested her strength. Now, he wanted to see how much courage this little girl had. Seeing that he was silent, Ji Wuxia knew that she had no other choice. She could not resist. The other party was too powerful. Clenching her fists slightly, Ji Wuxia's eyes struggled for a long time. Finally, she took out a short sword from her storage bag. She had no choice. If she had to die no matter what, at the very least, she had to help Granny Li survive. After all, she was the one who had dragged her into the fire. Senior, I was careless for a moment. In order to pursue opportunities, I trespassed into your territory and should be punished. However, Granny Li came to escort me. She shouldn't be punished. Senior, if you want me to die for you to calm down, then I'm willing to commit suicide. I only hope that Senior will let Granny Li off. Ji Wuxia gritted her teeth and gripped the hilt of the short sword tightly with both hands before inserting it into her dantian. However, the blade had only pierced through her abdomen for a centimeter when Lu Xiaoran's voice sounded again. Alright, you passed. Ji Wuxia was stunned and looked at Lu Xiaoran in confusion, not understanding what he was talking about. Lu Xiaoran continued, I just wanted to see if you're really apologizing or pretending. Didn't you come here to find opportunities? Your opportunity is right in front of you. That is, to acknowledge me as your master. Ah, Ji Wuxia was even more dumbfounded and was at a loss. Why did she have to take him as her master? Seeing her acting cute with a blank expression, Lu Xiaoran shook his head helplessly. Didn't you come to the Heaven Demon Sect to find opportunities to improve yourself and resist your ex-fiancé to wash away your previous shame? Only by becoming my disciple will you have the chance to get rid of him. Otherwise, even if you obtain a martial monarch realm inheritance, you won't be able to do anything to him. Do you believe me? Ji Wuxia's heart suddenly began to beat crazily. Not many people knew that she wanted to avenge her humiliation. Of course, they could still guess. However, how did Lu Xiaoran know? After all, he was not from the Imperial Palace. Moreover, weren't Lu Xiaoran's words a little too exaggerated? He actually dared to mention a martial monarch realm inheritance. He even said that even if she obtained a martial monarch realm inheritance, she still wouldn't be able to wash away her shame. It had to be known that after obtaining a martial monarch realm inheritance, even if one was not a martial monarch realm expert in the future, he would at least be a quasi-martial monarch realm expert. Lu Xiaoran waved his hand to indicate that she did not have to be shocked and continued, in any case, I've already told you. You only have two choices. Your first choice is to keep yourself busy for the rest of your life. Then, you'll watch as your ex-fiancé becomes stronger and stronger until you can only look up to him. In the end, you'll be depressed and even regret breaking off the engagement with him. Your second choice is to acknowledge me as your master. This will give you a chance to kill him. I don't like to wait. I'll give you 10 breaths to choose. The count begins now. Ji Wuxia was somewhat speechless. He seemed to be certain that that man would become very powerful in the future. It was even to the point that she would become mentally and physically exhausted and helpless. Although she did not know how confident Lu Xiaoran was in saying this. However, she also knew very well that she was not the most welcomed in the Purple Peace Imperial Palace. Therefore, it was impossible for her to ever come into contact with the best cultivation technique of the Purple Peace Imperial Palace. The best cultivation technique there was a saint-level cultivation technique. It was also her greatest hope and also her greatest despair. This was also the reason why she wanted to come to the Heaven Demon Sect to find opportunities. At this moment, all signs indicated that this Lu Xiaoran in front of him was not an ordinary person. What he said was indeed ridiculous. However, he might be able to make her even stronger. This was a gamble. Chapter 10. True Phoenix 9 Transformations. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. In the Great Zhou Empire and even the entire continent, once a disciple is taken in by a master, they would be master and disciple for life. Unless the other party was some crazy demon or deviant. Otherwise, no disciple could end their master-disciple relationship. Moreover, a person could not have too many masters. If a disciple wanted a second master, they would have to get the approval of the previous master. If one forcefully cancelled the master-disciple relationship, they would be mocked by everyone. In the world of martial arts, the master's status was extraordinary. If Ji Wuxia agreed but Lu Xiaoran could not give her what she wanted, she would lose out greatly. If Ji Wuxia did not agree, she would probably return to the Purple Peace Imperial Palace gloomily. However, Lu Xiaoran's miraculousness made it difficult for her to give up so easily. After being silent for a while, Ji Wuxia finally made up her mind. She took a deep breath and said with a solemn gaze, I'm willing to take you as my master. Lu Xiaoran's strength was above the creation realm. Even in the Imperial Palace, his strength would still be considered as outstanding. Moreover, for him to be able to set up such an extremely powerful formation, he was definitely not an ordinary person. Last but not least, he knew her information like the back of his hand. Ji Wuxia was willing to take a gamble because of this. Ding, congratulations, Master, on obtaining an SS-level disciple. Reward. Top-grade Martial Monarch Realm Cultivation Technique, True Phoenix 9 Transformations. Reward. Top-grade Emperor Weapon, Phoenix Perching Parasol Seal. Single quote. Lu Xiaoran smacked his lips. With a sweep of his gaze, he saw that they were all good things. Unfortunately, the True Phoenix 9 Transformations could only be cultivated by women and not him. He could only let Ji Wuxia cultivate it. If he cultivated it himself, his cultivation speed would definitely be faster than Ji Wuxia's. After all, in terms of talent, no one could compare to him. He decided that he would just sit by and let others do the work for him. Alright, since you're willing to take me as your master, from today onwards, you'll be my second disciple. Ji Wuxia was stunned. Did you only have one disciple? Lu Xiaoran nodded. That's right, you also have a senior brother called Yunlia. Ji Wuxia did not speak, but her expression was somewhat abnormal. As a Grand Peak Master of the Heaven Demon Sect, he only had 2 disciples. With such low prestige, could he teach a good person? Suddenly, she began to regret her rashness. Seeing through her thoughts, Lu Xiaoran smiled. It's not about the number of disciples, it's about the essence. Every disciple of mine is 1 in a million. Without the potential to reach the martial monarch realm, I won't accept them. The corner of Ji Wuxia's mouth twitched. Here it comes again. Lu Xiaoran could tell from her expression that she did not believe him. He could not be bothered to explain too much. It was useless to explain anyway. He directly pointed his finger in the void and sent the true Phoenix 9 transformations into the space between Ji Wuxia's eyebrows. This is the cultivation technique I chose for you. The cultivation technique entered her mind. Ji Wuxia casually swept her gaze over and muttered in her heart, could it be a heaven realm cultivation technique? She also cultivated a heaven realm cultivation technique. She even had multiple cultivation techniques. As the princess of the Purple Peace Imperial Palace, she did not lack such things at all. However, when she saw the grade of the true Phoenix 9 transformations clearly, her beautiful eyes immediately widened as if she had seen a ghost. Top grade martial monarch realm. Heavens, am I dreaming? As the top-level cultivation technique of the entire continent, a martial monarch realm cultivation technique could be said to be as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. Every martial monarch realm cultivation technique could cause a storm of blood on the entire continent. In her entire life, she had never hoped that she would be able to obtain a martial monarch realm cultivation technique. At most, she would dare to think about the mid-grade saint realm cultivation technique that had been passed down from generation to generation in the Purple Peace Imperial Palace. However, Lu Xiaoran had actually given her a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. This simply shattered her worldview, making her not even dare to think about it. Lu Xiaoran stood at the side and peeked at his disciple's expression, feeling especially happy. He felt smug now that he had proven that her suspicions were wrong. However, before Ji Wuxia had the chance to thank her, an intense explosion suddenly sounded from outside. Bastard, I'll kill you. Master, save me. Hearing this voice, Lu Xiaoran frowned and instantly disappeared from his spot. When he reappeared, he was already outside. At this moment, Granny Li attacked like lightning. Her aura was like lightning, and she was like a furious yaksha as she rushed towards Yunlia. She was a creation realm expert, and Yunlia was only a perfected 10th level master realm expert. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. She could kill Yunlia with a single move. Lu Xiaoran narrowed his eyes and instantly arrived between the two of them. How could he let her kill Yunlia? This was his precious disciple. Stop! Lu Xiaoran shouted as he circulated the primordial Chaos Emperor scripture. His aura instantly arrived. Granny Li, who was originally weaker than Lu Xiaoran, was directly pressed to the ground by the invincible aura the moment Lu Xiaoran made a move. PFF'd. Granny Li spat out a mouthful of blood and knelt on the ground, but her eyes were still scarlet. What's going on? Bastard, I'll kill you too. You perverts. Perverts. What perverts? Lu Xiaoran was puzzled and looked at Yunlia. Yunlia said aggressively, Master, didn't you ask me to do something to her? I prepared for a long time and even vomited all the food I ate last night before making up my mind to make a move. Unexpectedly, she woke up just as I undid her first button. Lu Xiaoran, I told you to keep an eye on her. I didn't ask you to do anything to her. Yunlia first had an innocent expression, but then his face turned red. He had actually misinterpreted his master's meaning. Damn, he had lost a lot of face this time. The extremely furious Granny Li's killing intent had already spread to the limit. She actually began to forcefully burn her cultivation to resist Lu Xiaoran's fist intent. You perverts, even if I have to die, I will kill you. However, at this moment, Ji Wuxia's voice suddenly sounded. Granny Li, no. Granny Li's body trembled as she turned to look at Ji Wuxia with an anxious expression. Princess, are you alright? Ji Wuxia shook her head. I'm fine, this matter is a misunderstanding. Now, I'm already Master Lu's disciple. What? Granny Li's pupils constricted as she looked at Ji Wuxia in disbelief. Princess, are you joking with me? Ji Wuxia shook her head and said solemnly, I'm not joking. From today onwards, I'll be Master Lu's disciple until the sea withers and the rocks rot. Granny Li was completely in a daze. Lu Xiaoran retracted the power of the primordial Chaos Emperor scripture while Granny Li sat on the ground. Princess, why? Ji Wuxia looked at Lu Xiaoran. Sorry, this is a secret regarding my master. I can't reveal it casually. Princess, have you gone crazy? I'm not crazy. Granny Li, you've always taken care of me. Please believe me, and believe in my choice. Chapter 11. Master's cultivation is at least at the martial monarch realm. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Ji Wuxia's words were powerful and resonating, making Granny Li's worldview completely collapse. She stared at Lu Xiaoran and said coldly, It's you. You must have deceived the princess. I will report to King Zinning and ask him to take your life. As soon as she finished speaking, two sharp lights that were filled with killing intent suddenly erupted from Lu Xiaoran's eyes. However, before he could attack, Ji Wuxia actually took the initiative to release a sword beam that brushed past Granny Li. Granny Li was dumbfounded. Princess, have you gone crazy? Ji Wuxia said with a solemn expression. I'm not crazy, Granny Li, I really decided to become master's disciple on my own will. He's my master now, I won't allow anyone to insult him or be disrespectful to him. Not even Granny Li, please forgive me. Then, she turned around and requested, Master, Granny Li watched me grow up and has protected me. Master, please spare Granny Li for my sake. I'm willing to be punished for her rudeness. Lu Xiaoran narrowed his eyes slightly. Usually, if someone threatened him, the other party would definitely not survive for more than an hour. However, this was the first time his disciple had begged him. He decided to just treat it as doting on a child. Therefore, he only heaved a sigh of relief. It's fine, I'm not that petty. Thank you, Master. Ji Wuxia heaved a sigh of relief. After thanking her master, she quickly walked to Granny Li's side and fed her a medicinal pill to help her recover from her previous injuries. Granny Li was somewhat dispirited and guilty as she whispered. Princess, it's because I'm useless and can't save you. You must have been threatened by him, right? Is it because he wants to kill me that you're willing to stay behind as a hostage? Ji Wuxia shook her head. Granny Li, don't think like that. I really decided to become his disciple by choice. Please believe me, in a year, no, half a year, I should return to Purple Peace Imperial Palace. At that time, you will see a different me. Granny Li's heart trembled, she could tell the determination in Ji Wuxia's eyes. If she was being threatened, she would not have such a look. Taking a deep breath, Granny Li could only nod in agreement. Alright, since the princess is so determined, I won't say anything. However, if we return to the Imperial Palace and the king asks, I'll report the truth. Ji Wuxia was somewhat embarrassed, but this was also Granny Li's responsibility. She could not say anything and could only sigh. Alright, in that case, take care. You too, princess, I'll go now. As soon as she finished speaking, Granny Li decided that she would not stay any longer. She quickly went down the mountain to treat her injuries. Lu Xiaoran was not afraid that she would report this to King Zinning. Firstly, with the 8 trigrams heaven sealing formation here, there were probably not many people in the entire Great Zhou who could fight their way in. Secondly, Ji Wuxia was only his disciple, not his concubine. King Zinning also wouldn't need to come and fight him. After Granny Li left, Lu Xiaoran immediately displayed the dignity of a master. Alright, it's not good to slack off in cultivation. Leah, explain the rules of the Heaven Demon Sect in Zishui Peak to your junior sister. After that, work on your respective cultivation. Yes, Yun Leah replied and Lu Xiaoran turned around and walked into his house. Yun Leah walked over quickly. When he saw Ji Wuxia, he could not help but blush slightly. Ji Wuxia's appearance far surpassed any woman he had ever seen. Even his ex-fiancée, who he had once been proud of and was incomparably beautiful, seemed to be much inferior to her. However, the other party was his junior sister. Yun Leah knew his limits. After taking a few glances, he began to talk about serious matters. Hello junior sister, I'm Yun Leah. Ji Wuxia nodded. Ji Wuxia greets eldest senior brother. Yun Leah scratched his head. Cough cough, no need to be so polite. Actually, I only became master's disciple a month before you. A strange expression flashed in Ji Wuxia's eyes. After that, Yun Leah told her about the rules of the Heaven Demon Sect in Zishui Peak. Ji Wuxia's interest was piqued. When she learned that the key to Zishui Peak was the word, ignoble, her expression immediately changed. She had the same expression Yun Leah did when he first heard of this. However, when she heard Yun Leah mention Lu Xiaoran's hacker theory, her pupils instantly constricted, and she broke out in cold sweat. Indeed, she had never thought that her ex-fiancé could defeat her. He was only a young master from a small family under Purple Peace County. It was true that his family was also considered a small rich family, but that was only relative to ordinary people. To an existence like the Purple Peace Imperial Palace, he was just a small ant. As for her, she had the backing of Purple Peace Imperial Palace. Be it her bloodline talent, cultivation techniques, medicinal pills, or other cultivation resources, they far surpassed the other party by several times. Even so, she was still defeated. She had been defeated by him in a single battle. Even if she racked her brains, she did not know how to explain this situation. After hearing Lu Xiaoran's theory, she seemed to think that it made sense. Taking a deep breath, Ji Wuxia stared at Yun Leah and said, Senior brother Yun, do you believe the theory master mentioned? Of course. Yun Leah's eyes surged with a firm expression. Ji Wuxia probed, could it be that senior brother is also? That's right. After Yun Leah told his story, Ji Wuxia could not help but shudder. It turned out that there was actually such a terrifying existence in this world. However, weren't they too unreasonable? Others had spent their entire lives working hard, but they could somehow easily obtain success. Were these people even human? God was simply ignorant. Wasn't this trampling on the hard work of others like trash? Yunlia smiled and consoled. However, you don't have to be envious or jealous of that kind of person. It's true that we don't have the luck and opportunities that the heavens have given them. However, we have Master. With Master's help, we can be hackers like them. Ji Wuxia thought of what Lu Xiaoran said and could not help but nod. Then, she asked curiously, by the way, senior brother Yun, you came a little earlier. Do you know anything more about Master? Can you tell me Master's cultivation? Yunlia shook his head and smiled bitterly. I really don't know, because in fact, I haven't been here for long. Moreover, have you forgotten that the rules of Zishui Peak state that one should never casually expose their true cultivation? That's true. However, I can also infer from Master's behavior. Master's cultivation is least at the martial monarch realm. Chapter 12. Peerless Movement Technique. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. What? Ji Wuxia's heart suddenly pounded violently. What kind of concept was that? Didn't that mean that Lu Xiaoran's strength could already be said to be the number one in the Great Zhou Empire? No, even in the entire continent, he was probably the peak combat strength. Senior brother, do you have any proof? Yunlia scratched his head. I'm only guessing. The first reason is that Master's cultivation technique is a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. Since you became Master's disciple, you should have also obtained a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique, right? Ji Wuxia nodded. Very good. On this point, Ji Wuxia had to admit that Lu Xiaoran was terrifying. A top-grade martial monarch realm expert. In the entire continent, martial monarch realm cultivation techniques were already rare, let alone top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation techniques. Moreover, he had even easily bestowed it to his disciple. His behavior of not caring about the top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique had already made him an existence that ordinary people could not reach. Secondly, you also know that the rules of our Zishui Peak have to do with living ignobly. Master has clearly said that we have to hide our cultivation realm and are never allowed to reveal it. However, it was still effortless for Master to defeat your guard, which means that he's at least above the creation realm. Moreover, it's natural for him to hide a few cultivation realms. That is why I said that Master's cultivation level is at least at the martial monarch realm. Hiss. Ji Wuxia could not help but gasp. She had actually become a disciple of someone whose strength was not inferior to a martial monarch realm expert. Although this martial monarch realm expert liked to live ignobly, he was still a martial monarch realm expert nonetheless. Seeing Ji Wuxia's shock, Yunlia did not find it funny. Back then, hadn't he also been shocked along the way like Ji Wuxia? The current him had long changed his mind. He was no longer shocked, but happy that he had found such a powerful master. Alright, junior sister, I think we should still focus on cultivation. Although Master is powerful, he can't protect us forever. We still have to rely on our own efforts. Ji Wuxia nodded and immediately took out a small porcelain bottle from her storage bag. There were 3 essence energy pills lying inside. Senior brother Yun, thank you for helping me answer my doubts. Here are 3 essence energy pills. Consider it a little gift from Wuxia. I would have given senior brother Yun more, but this time, I only brought 30 essence energy pills with me when I left the Imperial Palace. I still have to use them for cultivation. I hope senior brother Yun won't mind. Of course, although she said that, 3 essence energy pills was actually already a lot. Even if she was the princess of Purple Peace Imperial Palace, she only received 10 essence energy pills in the monthly offerings. However, Yunlia did not receive it. Instead, his expression was somewhat strange. Ji Wuxia raised her brows slightly. Senior brother, could it be that you think it's too little? Yunlia shook his head. That's not what I meant. However, junior sister, you've just entered the sect, so it's not appropriate for me to accept your gifts. Moreover, you also need more medicinal pills to cultivate your cultivation technique. With that said, he took out a small porcelain bottle from his storage bag. Take these essence energy pills and use them first. Ji Wuxia's face immediately twitched violently. The small porcelain bottle was filled with essence energy pills. According to her initial estimation, there were at least 200. Where did Yunlia get so many medicinal pills? Wasn't he just a small disciple of the Heaven Demon Sect? Was the Heaven Demon Sect this wealthy? Did all of their disciples have a few hundred essence energy pills each? As if sensing her confusion, Yunlia smiled and said, it's impossible for the Heaven Demon Sect to give us so many medicinal pills. This was given to me by Master. After we use them, we can ask Master for more. If we want more, we can get 1,000 pills at a time. It'll be enough for a long time. Ji Wuxia's face could not help but twitch fiercely again. At this moment, she was fully convinced that Lu Xiaoran was a martial monarch realm expert. In fact, Liu Xiaoran was naturally not a martial monarch realm expert. His current cultivation was only at the 3rd level of the Shattering Void realm. All of this was just Ji Wuxia and Yun Lia's own imagination. At this moment, Liu Xiaoran was opening gifts in his room. When Yun Lia advanced to the master level, he was given a huge gift bag. After he advanced to the perfected master level, he also received 10 small gifts. He opened his gift bag. Mid-grade Heaven Realm Spirit Marrow Pill X100. Top-grade Heaven Realm Array Formation, Immovable Bright King Formation X1. High-grade Heaven Realm Dragon Burial Spear X1. Liu Xiaoran had gotten a lot of good stuff. Just like how the Essence Energy Pill was an upgraded version of the Qi Gathering Pill, the Spirit Marrow Pill was an upgraded version of the Essence Energy Pill. One Spirit Marrow Pill was even comparable to 100 Essence Energy Pills. The other items were also all Heaven Realm treasures. It seemed that as Liu Xiaoran's disciples' cultivation level increased, the items he obtained from the gift bag also became better and better. If his disciples all became martial monarch realm experts in the future, wouldn't that mean that he could receive even better items? Thinking of this, Liu Xiaoran opened the huge gift bag. Top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique, Great Void Chaos Steps. The Great Void Chaos Steps was a peerless movement technique. It allowed the user's speed to increase along with his cultivation. With this movement technique, one could travel 50 kilometers, 500 kilometers, 5,000 kilometers. When their cultivation reached a certain level, they could even reverse time and space. Hiss. Good stuff. Liu Xiaoran could tell at a glance that this cultivation technique was extraordinary. It was too heaven-defying. He had to cultivate it. If he did not cultivate it, he would have let down Wang Kai for giving him such a good gift bag. Liu Xiaoran immediately went into seclusion and began to cultivate the Great Void Chaos Steps. Yin and Yang are divided in one breath. Yin and Yang become the 3 purities. The 3 purities are divided into the 4 symbols and the 4 symbols transform into the 5 elements. Cultivation often lasted for long periods of time. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. A month later, Liu Xiaoran woke up. His eyes turned white and black. The 2 colors emitted a strange glow that was filled with dignity and intimidation. I didn't expect to spend so much time mastering the Great Void Chaos Steps this time. It spent even more time on this than I did on the Azure Theurk Longevity Art. Looks like even though the Azure Theurk Longevity Art is a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation, a movement technique like the Great Void Chaos Steps is still a little stronger. However, for a peerless genius like me, it's still not a big problem. If it were anyone else, even if they were a little genius, they would still have to spend several years mastering the perfected Great Void Chaos Steps. As for Liu Xiaoran, he only needed half a month. This speed was definitely heaven-defying. For the other half of the month, he circulated the 2 martial monarch realm cultivation techniques in his body with all his strength to increase his cultivation. For the past month, I've been cultivating the Great Void Chaos Steps and the Azure Theurk Longevity Art non-stop. With the help of the Spirit Marrow Pill, my cultivation should have already broken through to the 4th level of the Shattering Void realm. At this rate, there's hope for me to break through to the Essence realm this year. As he spoke, Liu Xiaoran looked at his own cultivation again. Quote. 6th level of the Shattering Void realm. This rocket-like upgrade made Liu Xiaoran suddenly somewhat speechless. This was the Shattering Void realm, not the Body Refining realm. He had advanced by another 2 levels in the same month. This speed was a little too much. Chapter 13. Gathering of the Sect. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. These additional 2 levels of cultivation should be brought to me by Yun Lia and Ji Wuxia, right? Wang Kai, get me their information. Coming. It had to be said that Wang Kai's voice was very charming. If he were to become a voice actor, he would definitely be top-notch. I have already generated Yun Lia and Ji Wuxia's cultivation interface. Please take a look, Master. Liu Xiaoran glanced at it. Yun Lia had just broken through to the Master Realm and had stepped into the 1st level of the Spirit Realm. This time, his cultivation speed was far inferior to before. Previously, his cultivation had soared because the foundation that originally belonged to a Master Realm expert had not dissipated. The Primordial Chaos Emperor scripture had also gathered those foundations for him. This was why his early stage cultivation was like riding a rocket. However, after breaking through to the Master Realm, he was no different from an ordinary person. It could only be said that the enhancement of an martial monarch realm cultivation technique was faster than ordinary cultivation techniques. He estimated that it would probably take more than a month before he could advance by another level. Moreover, the time would only get longer and longer. Looking at Ji Wuxia again, he saw that her cultivation had originally been at the 1st level of the Spirit Realm. Now, she had already advanced to the 2nd level of the Spirit Realm and was halfway to the 3rd level. Her bloodline was indeed superior to Yun Lia's. It was a cultivation technique of the same level, and it was even more difficult for her since she was at a higher level. Compared to Yun Lia, her cultivation speed was much faster. This doesn't seem right either. These two guys only increased their cultivation by a small level each. It's not like before at all. How is it possible for them to increase my cultivation by 2 realm levels in a row? Wang Kai, did you get something wrong? This doesn't conform to the law of conservation of energy. They indeed did not increase Master's cultivation by 2 realm levels. They only provided Master with 1 realm level. In fact, the reason why Master was able to break through was because of Master's talent. It was also because Master had the Great Void Chaos Steps and the Azure Theurk Longevity Art circulating in his body. I'm actually speechless. Lu Xiaoran knew his talent very well. He was smart and learned everything very quickly. However, the best cultivation technique he had cultivated before was a Heaven Realm cultivation technique. Therefore, his calculation method was outdated. However, he had forgotten that whether it was a Heaven Realm cultivation technique or an Earth Realm cultivation technique, the difference between these cultivation techniques and an Martial Monarch Realm cultivation technique was too great. Coupled with his peerless talent, the effects of his cultivation had been doubled. However, Lu Xiaoran indeed felt that this system of taking in disciples was still terrifying. This was because he could obtain his cultivation without putting in any work. Just imagine, if 10 or 20 disciples cultivated together, the cultivation speed would definitely be much faster than his. However, at this moment, Lu Xiaoran suddenly sensed that someone had arrived in front of the array formation. He immediately put away the chaotic thoughts in his heart and tapped his foot, instantly disappearing from his spot. The Great Void Chaos Steps allowed him to arrive at the foot of the mountain in an instant. The sudden appearance of Lu Xiaoran shocked the Heaven Demon Sect Jr. who was traveling. Senior Uncle Lu, why did you suddenly appear? You scared me. Lu Xiaoran placed his hands behind his back and said indifferently, it's because your cultivation is too weak that you couldn't sense me clearly. The other party was somewhat ashamed when he heard this and immediately cupped his hands. Uncle Master is right, my apologies. Lu Xiaoran waved his hand. No need for that. Tell me, why did you come to my Zishui Peak? Reporting to Uncle Master Lu, the Sect Master has ordered all the elders to gather in the Sect's main hall at this moment. I'm under orders to inform Uncle Master. I see, thank you. What are you talking about, Uncle Master Lu? It was my honor to inform you. Yeah, Lu Xiaoran nodded and casually threw out a small bottle of medicinal pills. Then, he turned around and left Zishui Peak. The young disciple's eyes revealed a hint of envy. As expected of Uncle Master, what speed? His cultivation level has probably already exceeded the spirit realm, right? Then, he looked down at the small porcelain bottle in his hand, and his eyes immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. It's actually a chi-gathering pill. Uncle Master Lu sure is generous. Looks like in the future, I have to befriend Uncle Master Lu more and obtain his favor. This was also Lu Xiaoran's style. After all, it was not enough to survive in the dangerous mysterious world just by relying on his principle of living ignobly alone. How was that possible? Anyone who believed that was too naive. As the saying goes, if you don't want to find trouble with others, others will. Therefore, Lu Xiaoran also liked to make friends. The chi-gathering pill was simply easy for him to obtain and was completely worthless. With a casual refinement, he could produce the spirit concentration pill. That was a medicinal pill between the chi-gathering pill and the essence energy pill. Chi-gathering pills were all scraps. Therefore, it was the most cost-effective to give them away and befriend others. Lu Xiaoran quickly arrived at the gathering place of the sect, in the Heaven Demon Sect's main hall. Many Heaven Demon Sect elders had already gathered here. The people in the innermost group were already old men. They were all elders of the Heaven Demon Sect, and most of them were at the Mountain Sea Realm. The limit of ordinary cultivators was the Mountain Sea Realm. It was very difficult for them to advance any further. All that was left was to slowly cultivate, extend their lifespan, and hope to live another day. To put it bluntly, it was no different from waiting for death. Unless one had the opportunity to break through and condense blood essence again to increase their age, there was simply no other way. The group outside was relatively young. Some looked to be in their 30s or 40s, and some looked to be in their 30s like Lu Xiaoran. Some of them had entered the Heaven Demon Sect at the same time as Lu Xiaoran. However, most of them were at the Spirit Realm, and there were even some at the late-stage Master Realm. Xiaoran, you're here. As soon as Lu Xiaoran arrived, 2 figures surrounded him. It was a man and a woman. The man was called Li Doran and the woman was called Lin Jia. The 2 of them had entered the Heaven Demon Sect at the same time as Lu Xiaoran and were good friends. Seeing the 2 of them, Lu Xiaoran also smiled. Long time no see. Li Doran smacked his lips. You don't say. You've been holed up on Zishui Peak all day. You never even visited us. Lu Xiaoran touched his nose and smiled awkwardly. It can't be helped, my talent is relatively bad. If I can cultivate for a little longer, I'll cultivate for a little longer. Among the three of us, you're the only one who cultivates so diligently every day. It's not that I want to say this, but are you planning to cultivate to the martial monarch realm? There's no need to try that hard. With the talent of the three of us, we'll at most be able to reach the mountain sea realm in this lifetime. If we're lucky, we might only be able to reach the soul refinement realm. Why do you have to work so hard? Don't you get tired? Chapter 14. Young people have to work hard. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Everyone needs to dream, otherwise, how are we different from salted fish? Well, even if you do make it in the end, you'll still be a fish. Li Doran replied mercilessly. Of course, Lu Xiaoran did not care. He had originally hidden his cultivation and had no intention to compete with others. In fact, he had only been pretending to work hard. Lin Jia glared at Li Doran angrily. Stop talking nonsense here, Xiaoran is sincere in pursuing martial arts. On the other hand, you're always sloppy and neglectful. Li Doran immediately raised his hands in defeat. Fine, fine, fine. I shouldn't have spoken ill of Xiaoran in front of you. Lin Jia shook her head and turned to Lu Xiaoran. Xiaoran, don't listen to Doran's nonsense. As martial artists, we should still focus on cultivation and work hard to pursue the great Tao. Lu Xiaoran nodded. I know. By the way, do you know why the sect suddenly gathered us? Li Doran shrugged. Who knows? However, we're only spirit realm trash. Even if something big happens, what does it have to do with us? Good point. As he spoke, a tall and refined middle-aged figure slowly walked out from behind the hall. The tall man was dressed in a white robe and wore a gold jade crown on his head. He had an extraordinary aura. The voices in the hall slowly disappeared like a tide with his appearance. The sect master is here. Stop talking. Li Doran pulled the corner of Lu Xiaoran's shirt. He and Lin Jia immediately stood up. Everyone behaved as if they were children in kindergarten. The Heaven Demon Sect master swept his gaze below and nodded in satisfaction. Among the 200 elders, the weakest among them was a late-stage Master Realm expert. This was an impressive faction no matter where it was in the Great Zhou Empire. These elders also symbolize the strength of the Heaven Demon Sect. Elders, the reason why I gathered all of you here today is actually because of what happened 2 months ago. As everyone knows, an extremely shocking matter happened to my Heaven Demon Sect 2 months ago. A peerless expert caused the heavenly might. Lu Xiaoran was stunned when he heard this. Wasn't that when he was setting up the 8 trigram sky ceiling formation? The sect master continued, that matter even alarmed our Heaven Demon Sect's Grand Elder. However, after that, we still haven't found out which senior expert triggered the heavenly might. However, while investigating, the Grand Elder discovered something. That is, the sect's defensive array has been in disrepair for many years. This is why someone came to our Heaven Demon Sect but was not discovered. Therefore, under the orders of the Grand Elder, we have to choose an elder who is good at array formations to set up and repair the sect's defensive array. Elders, are any of you willing to volunteer? Unfortunately, everyone was not too enthusiastic. This was also very normal. First of all, doing this thing was a waste of time. It was like going to a construction site to carry bricks. Not only was it tiring, but they also couldn't earn much money. They might as well lie on their peaks and sleep. Secondly, this was the order of the Grand Elder. If things went wrong, they would be scolded or even severely punished. After all, the small amount of spirit stones that was offered as payment for the job was simply not worth it. The sect master could not help but frown slightly and say, there are so many elders in my Heaven Demon Sect. Is there not a single person who is willing to contribute to the sect? The elders could not take it lying down. Some of the more prestigious elders stood up and said, there aren't many people in our sect who understand array formations. There's only the few of you. Stop hiding and step forward. With this said, there was no other way. About 10 people stepped forward. Among them were Li Doran and Lu Xiaoran. Li Doran was famous for being a talkative master in the sect. Since he had nothing to do, he liked to wander around and talk to people. Therefore, he had sought out a few seniors and elders and got them to teach him how to set up array formations. There was no need to mention Lu Xiaoran. As a robust genius, he had to learn how to set up array formations on his own. After all, these things were not costly and provided a lot of benefits. Therefore, the two of them could only step forward. The sect master looked at everyone and asked the older elders. Elder Wang, Elder Tai, the two of you are considered to be at the top of the line in the sect. I wonder if the two of you are willing to take on this important mission. Elder Wang coughed lightly and said, Sect Master, something happened to my cultivation recently. I'm currently resting and it's not appropriate for me to use spirit energy. Therefore, I'm afraid I can't repair the array formation. Elder Tai's gaze was deep, and his expression was solemn and solemn. Sect Master, I've recently vaguely touched the threshold of the soul refinement realm and am about to focus on breaking through. Therefore, I can't do my best for the sect this time. The Sect Master raised his eyebrows slightly. Although he knew that these two elders might be lying, there was nothing he could do. The other party was already an established elder of the sect. Although his cultivation was low, he still had to call him senior brother when he saw him. If the sect was in danger, he could punish the other party in the name of the sect's righteousness. However, repairing the array formation was not a big deal. If he forced them to do it, they would lose the support of the others. He then looked at the few elders behind him and received similar answers as Elder Wang and Elder Tai. What was even more ridiculous was that an elder actually said that he was going to the Reliance sect next door for a blind date. The sect leader was so furious that he almost jumped up and cursed. Could it be that no one in the entire Heaven Demon sect can repair the sect's array formation? Seeing that the sect master was somewhat furious, an elder hurriedly said, Sect Master, actually, we're already old. Although we can still do well if we do it, shouldn't we let the younger generation use this chance to improve their skills? I think this is a good opportunity for us to take the opportunity to nurture the array formation level of the juniors. Lu Xiaoran's heart skipped a beat and he immediately had a bad feeling. Indeed, in the next moment, the elder pointed at Li Doran and Lu Xiaoran. Doran and Xiaoran are both among the younger generation elders of the sect. Their talent is rather good. If we let the two of them do it, they can also be trained and can work for the sect for a longer time in the future. They can even inherit the essence of the sect's array formation. What do you think, Sect Master? That's a good idea. I'll let Doran and Xiaoran handle this. The Sect Master's eyes lit up as if he had found his target. The other elders were mostly of the same generation as him, but not Li Doran and Lu Xiaoran. Thus, he did not have to worry. These two were both from the same generation as their martial nephews. The two of them did not dare to say anything when he reprimanded them casually. Otherwise, the two of them would suffer greatly if he accused them of disrespecting their seniors. Li Doran was somewhat dumbfounded and pitiful. He was just an idle big shot. How could he repair array formations? With his low-level skills, he would definitely be scolded. Sect Master, I don't. Just as he opened his mouth, he saw the Sect Master's eyes filled with killing intent glare over. He was so frightened that his neck shrank, and a chill ran down his spine. He swallowed the words he was about to say. Chapter 15. This Xiaoran is good at assessing the situation. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Lu Xiaoran did not say anything. If the Heaven Demon sect was in trouble, his Zishui peak would also not have a good time. It just so happened that he could also be at ease by participating in the repairing of the array formation. Alright, since the two of you have not objected, it's decided. After that, the two of you can go to the sect's treasure vault and extract some spirit stones to repair the array formation. Yes, Li Doran replied dejectedly. Alright, that's all for today's gathering. Meeting dismissed. Hearing the sect master's words, everyone immediately felt relieved. It was as if they had completed a mission. At this moment, they all scattered. Li Doran gritted his teeth in anger. These bastards ran faster than rabbits. They're simply disrespectful. Lu Xiaoran consoled, it doesn't matter. Someone has to do it anyway. Aren't you angry? What's the use of being angry? I'm really impressed. Li Doran was somewhat speechless, and Lin Jia advised. Stop complaining. Whether it's a blessing or a disaster, you can't avoid it. Since the sect has already chosen you, you should just carry it out properly. Learn from Xiaoran and be aware of the big picture. What else can we do? The sect master has already announced it in person. We can only work. Li Doran complained for a moment before following Lu Xiaoran to the sect's treasure vault. This place contained all the precious items of the sect. The two of them went directly to the elder room. Greetings, seniors. It's Doran and Xiaoran. Come, sit and have some tea. So the two of you have accepted the task of repairing the sect's array. This is an honorable and difficult task. Li Doran could not help but feel bitter, but he still braced himself and said, everything is for the safety of the sect. The few of them nodded. That's right, it's our Heaven Demon sect's fortune for you juniors to work so hard for the sect. Li Doran waved his hand. Seniors, you're too kind. Let's talk about serious matters. Repairing the array formation requires spirit stones. Please help me and Xiaoran get 800,000 high-grade spirit stones so that we can start repairing the array formation. As soon as he said this, the elders immediately frowned. 800,000. Isn't this number a little too big? We are taking in more and more disciples every day. The cost of buying medicinal pills and whatnot is increasing day by day. It's really difficult to take out 800,000 high-grade spirit stones in a short period of time. Li Doran was stunned. Then, give us 400,000 spirit stones first. Let us start work first. After Li Doran reduced the number, everyone was still not happy. Instead, they frowned even more, and the displeasure on their faces gradually deepened. Doran, it's really not easy to take out the spirit stones of the sect for the time being. How about this? We'll transfer them to you in 2 days. How about that? Li Doran's face darkened. He was not stupid. How could he not tell that these seniors were fooling him? How long would this take? If the sect master blamed them, he and Lu Xiaoran would definitely be unable to bear the consequences. Just as he was about to flare up, Lu Xiaoran grabbed his arm and pulled him behind him. Xiaoran. Li Doran was somewhat anxious, but Lu Xiaoran shook his head slightly, indicating for him to not get into a conflict. Then, Lu Xiaoran smiled and walked forward. Seniors, I've calculated in detail. This repair of the sect's grand array requires a total of 2 million high-grade spirit stones. Hearing this number, the elder's eyes clearly revealed a glimmer. Oh, why do you need so many spirit stones? It's more than double what Doran calculated. Lu Xiaoran smiled and said, 800,000 spirit stones is enough to repair the array formation. However, since you elders here have helped in the design and provided the spirit stones, you will naturally need some compensation. That 1.2 million spirit stones is the reward for all of your hard work. As soon as he said this, the elders' expressions became even more satisfied. Xiaoran, that's not good. How could the few of us get so much labor fees? Lu Xiaoran waved his hand. It's not much at all. Xiaoran and I are both newbies and aren't very proficient in array formations. Won't we all have to look up to the few elders? Their faces turned red and they smiled. Since you've already said so, Xiaoran, we can't be stingy. How about this, I'll give you two a total of 2.4 million high-grade spirit stones. After all, repairing the array formation requires a lot of energy. Thank you, seniors. You're welcome. We're all working for the sect, so it's only right for us. Here are 1.2 million high-grade spirit stones. Please count them. An elder threw a storage bag over. Lu Xiaoran swept his divine sense over it and casually retracted his sleeve. What's there to count? The seniors have all been in charge of the treasure vault for many years, so it definitely won't be wrong. The two of us brothers will go and do our work first. When we have time, we'll come and drink tea with the seniors. Go. After bidding the elders farewell, Lu Xiaoran turned around and directly pulled away the dumbfounded Li Doran. Seeing the two of them leave, the few elders could not help but stroke their whiskers and smile. I didn't expect Xiaoran to be so good at assessing the situation. In comparison, Doran is much worse. Looks like we should help Xiaoran more in the future. After walking out of the treasure vault, Li Doran still did not react. He stared at Lu Xiaoran like a fool. Xiaoran, isn't this blatant corruption? Lu Xiaoran rolled his eyes. Can you not be so harsh with your words? What do you mean by corruption? This is called helping each other out. Let's all get rich together. Well, we still didn't need 2.4 million spirit stones, right? I originally calculated that repairing the array formation will only cost us a total of 790,000 spirit stones. I even added an hour pay of 10,000 spirit stones for the work. But look at you guys actually came up with the number 2.4 million, 3 times the original amount. Do you know how tragic our deaths will be if the sect master finds out? Lu Xiaoran shook his head speechlessly. You're thinking too much. In fact, the sect is not ruled by the sect master alone. All sects are established by several senior elder families together. The few elders in charge of the treasure vault were arranged by the various families in the sect. One of them belongs to the Grand Elders faction. Do you think the sect master will dare to punish him? Moreover, we're not being corrupt. We're seriously working for the sect in repairing the array formation. Repairing the array formation requires spirit stones, all right. As long as we make sure the numbers match up, the sect master won't be able to find out. He's not a god. Damn, is this how this works? Of course, if we don't give them any benefits, do you really think we would be able to finish this job? Chapter 16. Relax. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. But isn't this too much? Even if the seniors from the treasure vault took 1.2 million, we still have 1.2 million left. After removing the cost for setting up the array formation, we still have 410,000 spirit stones left. Are they willing to just give it to us? Li Doran did not believe that they would share such a huge piece of the cake for no reason. Lu Xiaoran smiled. You're not stupid, but you haven't seen the true nature of things. Although they're not afraid of the sect master, if this matter is exposed, their families will inevitably have to pay a price to protect them. After all, this matter is ultimately not honorable. They gave us so many spirit stones just to drag us down together with them. This is called being in the same boat. Do you understand? Moreover, they guard the treasure vault every day. All the expenses and income of the sect are under their control. Do you think they care about a mere 300,000 to 400,000 spirit stones? You're underestimating them too much. Most importantly, the bird that sticks out gets shot. If the truth gets revealed, the more spirit stones we take, the less responsibility they will have to share. In this way, they will also receive less blame from the other sect disciples. To put it bluntly, they're using these 400,000 spirit stones to get us involved. It's also to make us shut our mouths. Of course, Xiaoran was not afraid. There was probably no one in the entire Heaven Demon sect who could defeat him now. As he spoke, Xiaoran threw a small storage bag to Doran. This is your share, take it, don't lose it. Doran immediately bent down and caught the storage bag. He could not help but tremble. 205,000 high-grade spirit stones. Heavens, he would never dare to imagine himself possessing so many spirit stones at once. This was not inferior to an ordinary working-class man winning tens of millions of yuan at once. He was so excited that he could not control himself. After a long while, he finally regained his senses. He hurriedly stuffed the storage bag away and chased after Xiaoran. Old Liu, oh no, Master Ran, I really admire you. You're really a genius. I'll work with you from now on. Get your hands off me. Alright, Master Ran, do you want to massage your shoulders and legs? I can massage you anytime you want. Just stay away from me. Understood. Xiaoran could not help but sigh as he watched the usually carefree Doran instantly turn into a humble bootlicker. Who said that a leopard never changes its spots? Anything could be done as long as one had enough money. The two of them arrived outside the mountain gate. Xiaoran swept his gaze over and already had a rough idea. The Heaven Demon Sect's array formation was interconnected in the shape of a circle, surrounding the entire Heaven Demon Sect. The outermost layer was a confusion formation. The consumption of spirit stones was very small, but it was very useful. It could resist the wild beasts in the forest, ordinary people, and some independent cultivators with ideas. The layer inside was an attack formation. Once it was activated, it would directly cause an attack that would take one's life. Moreover, it would also alarm the cultivators stationed at the mountain gate. The third layer was a defensive array formation that was used to resist the attacks of high-level cultivators. Without a special token or a powerful cultivation, one could forget about passing this layer. The three layers of array formations jointly formed the Heaven Demon Sect's sect protecting formation. Under normal circumstances, since most cultivators did not mainly specialize in array formations, everyone's cultivation in array formations was similar. In other words, they were all at the standard level of mastery. Only with extremely deep attainments in array formations would one be able to build an even stronger array formation. This was also why the Heaven Demon Sect was at ease to let the two juniors repair the array formation. This was because everyone's standards were very poor. Master Ran, what should we do? Give the order. Doran bowed with a lackey-like expression, revealing a somewhat despicable aura. Xiaoran's eyelids couldn't help but twitch. Can you be more normal? You're making me want to hit you. He, thanks to you, I've obtained more than 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. Of course I'll let you enjoy the treatment of an emperor. Stop being naughty, hurry up and work. If you don't do well, the sect master will still deal with us. Understood. How about this? You go and check the grand array on the side. There's not much use there usually, and the array formation doesn't consume much. You just have to replace the spirit stones and activate the array formation again. Then, you can check if there are any obliterated array runes. I'll do the rest. Understood. Doran immediately followed Xiaoran's instructions. As for the array formation at the front gate, Xiaoran still planned to deal with it himself. This was the place that was most vulnerable to enemies and also the place that was most easily exhausted. If he worked more carefully, he would also be able to make use of this array formation in the future if there were any powerful enemies. First was the innermost defensive formation. A defensive array formation was not foolproof. To be precise, it was a gradual defense. It had a schedule. If outsiders wanted to enter, they would be obstructed by spirit energy. The lower their cultivation, the more difficult it was for them to pass through the array formation. Xiaoran removed the original array formation inscription and engraved it again. With his extremely proficient attainments, he reconstructed the array formation. Then, he would fill in the spirit stones at the key points and finally activate the formation to complete the new formation. Of course, in order to avoid attracting too much attention, he only used 50% of his formation modeling strength. Although he only used 50% of his strength, the new formation was still much stronger than the previous array formation. In any case, the people that attacked the Heaven Demon Sect were not Peerless experts. It was fine as long as it was good enough. The remaining ones were the attack formation and the illusion formation. Liu Xiaoran also used 50% of his strength to complete the construction of these two formations. The entire process took an entire month. A month later. Ha, it's finally done. Liu Xiaoran threw away the stone with the engraved runes and clapped his hands, his face relaxed. Li Doran ran over from afar with a smile. Old Liu, it's finally done. Liu Xiaoran nodded. That's right, it wasn't easy. In the blink of an eye, a month has passed. Speaking of which, aren't you tired? Why are you still so energetic? What's there to be tired of? Not to mention a month, I'm even willing to work for 10 years. After all, the 200,000 high-grade spirit stones will last me forever. I wonder who was the one who said that it was better to cultivate at home. Cultivate, yeah right, if I let you cultivate for a month, will you be able to break through a realm level? I've been stuck at the 3rd level spirit realm for almost half a year, and I've barely made any progress since then. Moreover, even if you break through, you'll only still be a spirit realm trash. Isn't it good to get 200,000 spirit stones just for repairing the formation? Liu Xiaoran was about to say something when the energy in his body suddenly fluctuated. He had broken through 7th level of the Shattering Void realm. After not cultivating for a month, he had broken through another realm level. Thinking about it, it should be because his 2 disciples had worked hard to cultivate that he had broken through. He looked at the smug Li Doran and sighed. In the end, he did not say anything. He decided to hide the truth of him advancing without even having to cultivate. After all, why should he go and ruin other people's happiness? At this moment, Li Doran suddenly stopped smiling. He looked around and saw that no one was around, so he whispered sneakily. Old Liu, we've both worked hard for a month. Why don't we go relax? Liu Xiaoran raised his eyebrows slightly in confusion. Where can we go to relax? Li Doran looked around again and then leaned closer to Liu Xiaoran's ear. Acacia Faction. Hiss. Chapter 17. Excessive Strength. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Hearing this name, Liu Xiaoran's face immediately twitched violently. He had actually recommended such a place. Are you crazy? How dare you go to such a place? If you get infected by the evil aura, no matter how high your cultivation is, it will be useless. Cultivators were most afraid of being infected with evil aura. This evil aura was like a poison or maggots that attach themselves to one's bones. It would be gradually magnified in the human body and would eventually affect the mind. No matter how high your cultivation level is, you will gradually become a demon and kill people like flies. In the Great Zhou, those who were infected by the evil aura would immediately be forced to receive concentrated treatment and be purified with cultivation techniques. Those who were not cleansed well would be directly killed without any room for discussion. Fairies weren't the only ones that could infect one with the evil aura. However, it was easiest to get infected by fairies. What's there to be afraid of? Do you think the Acacia faction is that kind of pheasant sect? They're a large sect with many branches spread throughout the entire Great Zhou. They have an extremely good reputation. The fairies inside have been around for 100 years and their sect is ranked at the top of the women's sects in the Great Zhou Empire. They only do foot massages. They're not the kind you think. But we still have to get the sect elders to check the array formation. I got my disciple to inform them. The 2 of us have been working tirelessly for a month. Let's go out and have fun. They won't say anything. Moreover, it's my treat. We'll get the best girls tonight. Liu Xiaoran was about to refuse when Wang Kai's pleasant voice sounded in his mind. Master, we found an SSS level genius near the Acacia faction. Damn, it was actually a SSS level genius. It had to be known that even the princess of the Great Zhou, Ji Wuxia, was only a SS level genius. Damn, it made Liu Xiaoran's blood boil. Wang Kai, can you use soul guidance? Bring the other party here. The other party is currently being pursued and will die before arriving. Quote. Old Liu, what's wrong? Li Doran was surprised and puzzled by Liu Xiaoran. He thought that Liu Xiaoran had been stimulated by their conversation. Liu Xiaoran shook his head and casually took out a token. It's nothing. Get your disciple to give this token to the elders. This is a new control token. Without it, the disciples won't be able to easily walk out of this array formation. Then, he quickly left. Li Doran looked at the token in his hand and chuckled. Old Liu, you're still pretending to be innocent. In the end, you're even more anxious than me. As soon as he finished speaking, he quickly chased after Liu Xiaoran. He did not listen to what Liu Xiaoran told him at all. They had only repaired the array formation. Why would there be a need for a new token? Moreover, even if there was a slight change in the array formation, there were still many experts in the sect and the sect master who was at the Shattering Void realm. Li Doran believed that even without this token, the elders would have no problems with the array formation. He could not wait to go to the Acacia faction. On the other side, Li Doran's disciple had already arrived at the Heaven Demon Sect's hall under orders. However, at this moment, there was only a group of elders in the hall and no sect master. Elder Li Doran's disciple, Chen Dashan, is here on master's orders to report to the sect master that the array formation has been completely repaired. Oh, I didn't expect Xiaoran and Doran to be so fast. Sect master was indeed right. Unfortunately, sect master is in seclusion now and won't be able to go and check for a while. Actually, there's nothing to check. Isn't it just repairing the array formation? There's a blueprint for the previous array formation. As long as the two of them aren't idiots, it's impossible for them to mess up. That's right, I think we should wait for Sect Master to come out of seclusion before checking it. That way, we won't have to run back and forth. That's right, that's a good plan. However, just as he finished speaking, a disciple rushed in from outside the door. Elders, something bad has happened. Everyone was shocked. What's the matter? That disciple wiped the sweat on his forehead and hurriedly said in a panic. The mountain gate has been sealed by the array formation. The disciples can't get out. Elder Huang is trapped in the defensive array and can't move. Elders, please quickly help. What? Everyone was shocked. The array formation had actually sealed the mountain gate. Moreover, even Elder Huang could not pass through. How was this possible? It had to be known that Elder Huang's cultivation had already reached the 10th level of the spirit realm and the peak perfection level. It was simply unbelievable that he could get trapped in the array. Let's go and take a look. Everyone hurriedly got up and rushed to the entrance. As soon as they arrived, they saw many disciples gathered at the entrance of the mountain. Looking at the third layer, the short and fat Elder Huang was actually suppressed alive in the defensive array formation. He was unable to move and looked very comical. What's going on? Many elders with low cultivation levels could not tell the profundity of this, but some elders with high cultivation levels instantly understood. Heavens, this array formation is actually several times more exquisite than the previous one. Because the array formation is too exquisite, the power of the array formation has more than doubled. Therefore, the array formation token from before is no longer suitable. That's why Elder Huang is trapped inside. Damn, is this Doran's work or Xiaoran's? Isn't this too powerful? A disciple asked in confusion, Elder, is it that powerful? I think the inscription of this array formation seems to be no different from before. The elder who spoke shook his head. Child, you're still young, so you don't understand the profundity of this. To be honest, in our entire Heaven Demon Sect, other than Elder Doran and Elder Xiaoran, there are very few people who can reach this level in array formations. It's not an exaggeration to say that with this attainment in array formations, the one who built the array formation between the two of them is qualified to be directly conferred the title of sect leader. Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but gasp in unison, and they felt their scalps go numb. The other party had actually received such high praise from the elders. This was simply unimaginable. It had to be known that regardless of whether it was Elder Li or Elder Lu, they were still very young. Among the elders, their cultivation levels were not very high. As everyone spoke, the first elder slowly walked in front of Elder Huang. Junior brother Huang, why are you so obsessed with leaving the sect? How did you get stuck in a defensive formation? Elder Huang said with an aggrieved expression, I didn't want to either. I made an appointment with the matchmaker today to go on a blind date with the Reliance sect next door. I originally thought that this array formation was nothing special and that I would be able to get through it easily, but who knew that this array formation had strengthened so much? I immediately got stuck inside. The first elder's face could not help but twitch fiercely. Do you really want to go on a blind date? I thought that was just an excuse for you to reject the sect master. I wasn't just trying to reject the sect master. I really did have a blind date. First elder, quickly help me get out. I'm almost late for my blind date. Junior brother Huang, don't worry. I'll save you right now. Thank you, first elder. The first elder took a deep breath and circulated the spirit energy in his body. He stepped forward and entered the defensive array. After he stepped into the defensive formation, his entire expression instantly became very solemn. The heavy force pressed down on his body, making him feel that something was wrong. The disciples behind could not help but have worried expressions. What happened, first elder? I don't know. Judging from his expression, the situation seems to be a little serious. Could it be that he got stuck too? The elders chuckled. You kids don't know your place. First elder is a creation realm expert. It would not be possible for him to get stuck in this array formation. Chapter 18. Using the sect's life-saving teleportation formation. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Hiss. The creation realm. The disciples drew a deep breath, their eyes revealing deep admiration. To them, most of them were disciples below the postnatal realm. The creation realm was like a huge mountain that they couldn't even begin to comprehend. They were all confident that it would be fine now. With the first elder around, he would definitely be able to break through this array formation. Under the gazes of everyone, the first elder began to walk towards Elder Huang. The first step was easily taken. All right. In the crowd, some disciples even shouted excitedly. The second step was a little slow, but it was still considered safe. First elder, you can do it. After seeing this, some of them even became the fans of the first elder. However, everyone was just about to become excited when the third step was stopped halfway. The first elder's foot was stuck in midair. No matter how hard he tried, he was unable to advance an inch. His face had also been flushed red. The cheers immediately disappeared. Everyone stared at the first elder in confusion. First elder, why have you stopped? The first elder's face turned red as he trembled in anger. Why do you think so? I'm trapped in this array formation. What? The crowd was instantly dumbfounded. First elder had only taken 2.5 steps. He was trapped just like that. Was there a mistake? Elder Huang began to panic. First elder, don't joke with me. I'm almost late for my blind date. Blind date, blind date. Is that all you care about? There are so many female elders in the Heaven Demon Sect. Why don't you just pursue them instead? Why did you have to go to the Reliance Sect? Why? Elder Huang said with an aggrieved expression. I'm too familiar with the people from the sect. It's not easy to make a move on them. Moreover, the older ones are not that good looking. It's not like the younger ones would fancy me either. Why do you have so many requests? You're already more than 300 years old. What kind of beauty have you not seen before? Moreover, at your age, you probably don't have those needs anymore. On the other hand, I'm only 120 years old. The road is still long for me. I want to find a partner. The first elder was so furious that his beard trembled. He turned around and roared at everyone. Aren't you going to invite Elder Wang and Elder Tai over? The two of them were both experts in array formations in the Heaven Demon Sect. There's no need to look. The two of us are already here. Elder Wang and Elder Tai immediately crawled out from behind the crowd. When they saw this, they were immediately stunned. Then, they snorted and chuckled. The first elder's expression darkened. Did the two of you laugh at me just now? Elder Wang and Elder Tai immediately said seriously, Senior brother, don't blame us. The two of us have been martial brothers with you for many years. No matter how funny or embarrassing situation is, we won't laugh at you. That's right, our relationship with you has been tempered and consolidated over time. No, I can't hold it in anymore. PFF'd, ha ha ha. These two people were different from the other elders and disciples. They were both the junior brothers of the first elder and had a rather deep friendship. Therefore, they dared to laugh. The others did not have the courage to do so. The first elder was so furious that he almost collapsed. You two bastards, hurry up and break this formation and save us. Seeing that their senior brother was really angry, the two elders immediately stopped laughing and hurriedly began to study the array formation. Senior brother, don't be angry. We'll take a look at it right now. With that said, the two of them hurriedly approached and began to carefully study the inscription on the array formation. However, the two of them could not help but gasp at the sight of it. Hiss, heavens, the degree of engraving of this array formation is simply too impressive. My Heaven Demon Sect actually has such an array master. The first elder said angrily, who doesn't know that this array formation is very powerful? Even I, a creation realm expert, got trapped. What's the use of saying this? I want you to immediately crack the array formation. The two of them explained with solemn expressions, eldest senior brother, you're a layman. You only know that this array formation is very powerful, but this array formation is actually extraordinarily powerful. Everyone was shocked. Could this array formation have other profundities? As if seeing everyone's confusion, Elder Wang explained, the slightest change in the engraving of the array formation will cause a drastic change. The level of the engraving will also greatly change the might of the array formation. This defensive formation can already be said to be the peak. An ordinary defensive array is only capable of defending. However, this grand array has already developed its own consciousness. It will change the array based on the strength of the intruder. It will also do so in a way that consumes the least amount of spirit energy, while also causing the intruder to suffer the greatest pressure. Not to mention you, even if the sect master came, he would also be trapped inside. Hearing this, everyone's hair stood on end. This array formation was actually so terrifying. Was this a joke? Could the sect master himself get trapped in this array formation? The sect master was an expert at the Shattering Void realm. Junior brother, are you sure? Is this array formation really that powerful? The first elder's heart skipped a beat. Elder Wang said with a solemn expression, I've not seen an array formation that is weaker. I once had the honor of visiting the Heaven Sword Sect's defensive array formation. That defensive array formation can easily trap experts above the third level of the Shattering Void realm. And this array formation is even stronger than that array formation when it comes to the engravings. Hiss. The first elder's heart skipped a beat. However, he was not angry. Instead, his eyes were filled with excitement. If this array formation was so powerful, then it also meant that the person who engraved the array formation was simply a huge treasure. They had to worship him. Then can you undo this formation? Elder Wang and Elder Tai shook their heads. I'm afraid not. With our strength, we actually can't break this array formation anymore. Where are Xiaoran and Xiaoran? Where are the two of them? The Elder of Discipline immediately picked out Chen Dashan, Li Doran's disciple, from the crowd. Hurry up and tell us the whereabouts of your master and your uncle Master Lu. Chen Dashan had never seen such a scene before. He was so frightened that he was about to cry and stammered. What are you stuttering for? The Elder of Discipline kicked his butt. If you don't tell me right now, I'll not let you off. Chen Dashan trembled in fear and immediately revealed everything. I'm not too sure either, but I vaguely heard that my master wants to invite Marshal Uncle Lu to the Acacia faction to relax. As soon as he finished speaking, the surroundings instantly fell silent. Acacia faction. Elder Huang was so furious that he broke down. These two bastards ran to the Acacia faction to enjoy themselves while they got me trapped here and ruined my blind date. I won't let them off. The first elder's face darkened completely. Elder Wang said carefully, Senior brother, what do you think we should do? The first elder gritted his teeth and said coldly, what else can we do? Since only the two of them can solve it, then let's get them back. But, we can't get out. The first elder gritted his teeth and struggled for a long time, as if he had made a huge decision. Looks like I can only use the Sect's life-saving teleportation formation. Chapter 19. Simba's Cultivation Record. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Everyone's eyes turned cold as their hearts pounded in disbelief. The Sect's life-saving formation was an array that would only be activated when the Sect was being destroyed. It could teleport the disciples outside the Sect so that they could escape and leave a chance for the Heaven Demon Sect to rise again. And now, because of Lu Xiaoran and Li Doran, they had to use this life-saving formation. At this moment, everyone finally realized how powerful this array formation was. On the other side, Lu Xiaoran and Li Doran finally arrived at the Acacia faction. A sect like the Acacia faction was a sect that specialized in providing relaxed entertainment and leisure for cultivators. By doing foot baths, massages, and singing, they could earn cultivation resources through a series of warm services. The Acacia faction was not to be underestimated. It had to be known that the consumption of a sect was huge. Not only did sects need disciples to mine spirit stone mines, but they also needed disciples to go out and accept missions to earn cultivation resources to maintain the operation and development of the sect as well as the cultivation of the disciples. Among them, luck and strength were not the only factors. Otherwise, even if a sect was given a top-grade spirit stone mine, it still wouldn't be able to keep it. However, the Acacia faction's ancestor, Fairy Hong Yu, who was known as the Pink Skeleton, had taken a different approach to gaining resources. She taught the woman different skills, allowing them to fully utilize her resources and advantages to create a series of popular services targeted at cultivators. With these, she could start her sect from scratch. The Acacia faction had jumped from a small sect to one of the top sects of the Great Zhou Empire, and its strength was even above the Heaven Demon Sect. Although many martial cultivators looked down on the Acacia faction and felt that the Acacia faction was too cunning, it still did not stop them from selling their beauty for resources. The Acacia faction continued to grow and attract countless male cultivators. Lu Xiaoran even suspected that Fairy Hong Yu was a transmigrator. Back then, the reason why he had chosen to hide and develop steadily was also closely related to the Acacia faction's ancestor, Fairy Hong Yu. Greetings, masters. Come and play. The fairy in charge of greeting guests at the entrance was different from the female cultivators of ordinary sects. She was dressed in exposed clothing. She had an off-shoulder shirt, a flowing short skirt, and high heels. Her nails were stained bright. Since all the female cultivators of the entire continent wore long dresses and were tightly wrapped, the attire of the Acacia faction women was simply very impactful. As soon as he arrived, Li Doran could not help but gulp. His eyes widened. Xiaoran, look at those long legs, look at that small waist, look at those tender white arms. Heavens, this is what a woman should be like. Lu Xiaoran could not help but sigh slightly. The men of the martial world were really too pitiful and inexperienced. Although this Acacia faction woman was dressed ahead of her time, in his previous life, girls that were dressed in this way were very common in the summertime. It could even be considered relatively conservative. However, Li Doran was already unable to stand it. It was no wonder that the Acacia faction was so popular. The Acacia faction woman was very tactful. When she saw Li Doran's expression, she immediately walked forward and hugged Li Doran's arms from both sides. Master, come in and play. Our Acacia faction is very fun. Li Doran had already been bewitched and had forgotten everything. He nodded repeatedly. Yes, of course, I came here specially to have fun today. Then today, we must let this master understand the wonders of our Acacia faction. That's good. As long as you serve me well, I won't be short of spirit stones. The one behind is my brother. Understood. The female cultivators smiled charmingly and signaled to the door. Immediately, 2 more female cultivators walked over with charming smiles. However, before they could approach Lu Xiaoran, they were isolated by Lu Xiaoran's protective aura. I'm not here to have fun. I'm just accompanying my friend here. As soon as he finished speaking, he placed his hands behind his back and walked in, shocking many female cultivators. This is a strange sight. After coming to the Acacia faction, this guy actually managed to resist and not find joy. HMPH, he's only being reserved for now. Soon, his true colors will be revealed. That's right, men are all perverts. He won't be able to keep this up for long. He. Lu Xiaoran naturally heard these words, but he did not care. Instead, he silently summoned Wang Kai. Wang Kai, where's the SSS level disciple? Coming, Master, I'm here. I'm currently confirming the other party's location. I'll send the information to Master first. The next moment, some information appeared in Lu Xiaoran's mind. Fang Tianyuan was the heir of the ancient ape tribe and a top-grade genius who had only cultivated for 23 years and had already reached the first level of the Mountain Sea realm. Because his uncle had usurped power and forced his parents to die, he was currently being chased after by his uncle's troops. Lu Xiaoran's eyes lit up. This template is so familiar. Why does it feel like that character Simba? Could it be that, this time, I'm finally going to take in a protagonist as my disciple? However, in the next second, Wang Kai sent over another piece of information. Fang Aoshan, Fang Tianyuan's uncle, was originally one of the previous heirs of the ancient ape tribe. The bloodline of the ancient ape tribe's chief was special, and each chief only had one son. However, Fang Aoshan's father was an exception and gave birth to Fang Aoshan and his brother, Fang Beishan. Because Fang Aoshan was born with a thin figure, he was abandoned by the tribe. 50 years later, Fang Aoshan returned as a heavenly king and swept through the ancient ape tribe. He killed Fang Beishan and his wife and became the new chief of the ancient ape tribe. Damn, Wang Kai, I knew it. Even without looking at the story, just by looking at the name, Lu Xiaoran could tell that Fang Tianyuan's uncle was the protagonist of this story. Fang Aoshan, this name was filled with a posturing aura. Forget it. In any case, he shouldn't have expected to be able to take in a protagonist as his disciple. He could only accept some villains to barely maintain his life. The villains were upright and spoke nicely. They were unlike those protagonists, who wanted to kill everyone. Thinking of this, he and Li Doran also arrived at the Acacia faction's hall. The same fairy continued to guide them with a smile. Master Li, what kind of activity are you interested in? We have people to accompany you to eat, drink, sing, and have fun. We also have people who can help relax your muscles and get your blood flowing. Li Doran waved his hand in an extremely carefree manner. Get me a batch of fairies. I want the beautiful ones. I do not lack money. The fairy smiled gently, her watery eyes curved like crescent moons. Alright, I'll arrange it for you now. With that said, she clapped her hands. Immediately, a row of female cultivators with enchanting figures walked out from the private room beside her. They were all dressed in sleeveless cheongsams and short skirts. They were even more alluring than the fairy that welcomed them in. Chapter 20. Is he a god? Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Gulp. Seeing this group of women come out, Li Doran's eyes widened, and his mouth went dry. I've long heard that your Acacia faction's fairies are of high quality and are ranked at the top of the Great Zhou. I didn't expect the quality to actually be this high. Li Doran was not joking. Because of their cultivation, the skin of the women in this world was delicate, and their figures were top-notch. Even the fairy that welcomed them in could be considered to be very beautiful even without any makeup. In Lu Xiaoran's previous life, she could even become a top celebrity after going through some training. Unexpectedly, the fairy that welcomed them in pursed her lips and smiled. This is the cheapest batch we have here. Li Doran was shocked. What? These beautiful ladies are the cheapest girls in your Acacia faction? That's right, our Acacia faction is the most high-end service sect in the Great Zhou Empire. We have a lot of choices. We have girls that cost 198 low-grade spirit stones, girls that cost 498 low-grade spirit stones, and even Supreme Realm cultivators that cost 998 low-grade spirit stones. Damn, Li Doran exclaimed and stared straight ahead. His hand grabbed Lu Xiaoran's arm tightly as he said excitedly, "Old Lu, if these 198 people look like this, won't the 998 people be extremely charming?" Lu Xiaoran raised his eyebrows as if he had thought of something bad, but he could not remember what it was. "Don't be too excessive. The expensive ones might not satisfy you." "How can that be? It's not easy for me to come here, and they only cost 998 low-grade spirit stones. How can I let go of such a cheap price?" He had just obtained 200,000 high-grade spirit stones that were equivalent to 20 million low-grade spirit stones. How could he care about such a small sum of money? The Fairy of Welcoming smiled and said, "The services of the 998 girls will be held in a special VIP room. Please follow us upstairs, Master Li." Li Doran did not answer her directly. Instead, he looked at Lu Xiaoran and said, "Old Lu, are you really not going? It's my treat. You don't have to pay." Lu Xiaoran waved his hand. "No, I'm not interested in such things." "Then, I'll go up first by myself." "Go on." "Are you really not coming?" "No, don't say that I'm not a good friend. I invited you. You chose this yourself." With that said, Li Doran ran to the third floor. The fairy that welcomed them in smiled and said, "Master Lu, our Acacia faction's service is famous throughout the entire Great Zhou. Do you really not want to try it?" Lu Xiaoran shook his head. "I'm not blessed and am not used to foot massages. Could it be that Master Lu wants something more elegant? Do you want to try out some sports that are beneficial to the body and mind? Are you interested in crossing 2 white jade mountains to visit the deep river? If the price is appropriate, our Acacia faction can also provide it." Lu Xiaoran glanced at the other party. He knew that the Acacia faction was not a proper sect. In this world, there was nothing clean about such places. "No need, I'm not interested in these things. I just want to be left alone." "Alright, then I won't disturb Master Lu. Take a rest. If you need anything, just let me know. The fairies in the hall will be at your service." The fairy that welcomed them in was somewhat disappointed. It was not because of money. She simply felt that Lu Xiaoran was very handsome and had an indescribable aura that made her unable to control herself. To put it bluntly, she simply coveted Lu Xiaoran's body. Unfortunately, Lu Xiaoran's eyes were clear and he was clearly not interested in the women of the Acacia faction. After everyone dispersed, Lu Xiaoran slowly closed his eyes and waited for news of Wang Kai. Fortunately, Wang Kai did not disappoint him. In less than 2 minutes, he received a message. "Master, the location has been locked. Coordinates are being transmitted." The corner of Lu Xiaoran's mouth curled up slightly. The moment he opened his eyes, Lu Xiaoran also used the Great Void Chaos Steps. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from his spot. A guest in the corner had just walked out and inadvertently saw this scene. With a bang, the cup in his hand shattered as if he had seen a ghost. Heavens, what speed! I'm at the spirit realm, but I can't even see through his speed. Even a Mountain Sea realm expert probably can't do this, right? A moment later, he felt somewhat heartbroken. Damn it, I was originally ashamed that as a spirit realm expert, I still came to the Acacia faction to have fun. I didn't expect that even such a powerful senior above the Mountain Sea realm would come to the Acacia faction to have fun. The world is really declining. Get me 2 top-grade fairies in room 73. Not the 998 ones. On the other side, in the forest less than 100 miles from the Acacia faction, a violent explosion suddenly sounded. After the explosion, a handsome young figure suddenly fell to the ground, creating a huge pit. Ahem, he crawled out of the pit, his body covered in injuries. Half of his body had even been burned. Behind him, several powerful figures also arrived quietly at the same time and stood not far from him. "Tianyuan, accept your fate. You won't be able to escape from our hands." "Ha ha ha ha, I didn't expect to die in the hands of my uncles who watched me grow up." As soon as he said this, the few of them had somewhat ashamed expressions. "Tianyuan, if you want to blame someone, blame us for this. If we hadn't abandoned your uncle because he was weak back then, things wouldn't have ended up like this. We owe him. As for the injustice you and your parents suffered, we can only repay it in our next life. Stop pretending to be righteous." Fang Tianyuan spat out a mouthful of blood. "The winner takes all. I, Fang Tianyuan, still understand that. Go on and make your move." Fang Tianyuan closed his eyes. "Dad, Mom, I'm useless and can't avenge the two of you. However, I'll go down now and apologize to you." The experts of the ancient ape tribe looked at each other, their eyes filled with guilt. Soon, their eyes were covered in killing intent. Then, a huge aura suddenly pressed towards Fang Tianyuan. At this moment, Fang Tianyuan was already extremely weak. One could imagine that he was no match for such a huge aura. As long as he touched it, he would die. Just as Fang Tianyuan thought that he was about to die, an even stronger aura suddenly appeared behind him. It was as if he was a weak flower being protected by a tall mountain. Fang Tianyuan suddenly opened his eyes and saw the most shocking scene in his life. Chapter 21. No, he's a lunatic. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. A figure he had never seen before slowly walked over with his hands behind his back. Every step he took caused ripples in the air. This figure also emitted a spiritual aura that revealed an extremely deep cultivation that shook the air. As he walked, the elders who were prepared to attack him also seemed to have suffered an extremely powerful pressure. All the muscles in their bodies could not help but tremble. They bowed slightly and were unable to straighten their backs. At this moment, Fang Tianyuan felt like his soul had suffered a violent impact. This was an expert he had never seen before. To him, Xiaoran was simply like a god. In shock, the figure slowly walked past him and towards the elders of the ancient ape tribe. The pressure the elders endured was also increasing. Even though they used their full strength and crazily circulated the spirit energy in their bodies, they were still unable to withstand it easily. One of the elders gritted his teeth and forcefully endured it as he shouted with his full strength. "May I ask who you are?" The other party did not answer. The elder shouted again, "Sir, we are all elders of the ancient ape tribe. We didn't mean to offend you. Please show mercy." The other party finally spoke, but Xiaoran did not answer them. Instead, he directly attacked. Lightning bolt fist. With a punch, killing intent surged. How powerful! The expressions of the elders changed drastically. They no longer cared about their dignity and used the secret technique of the ancient ape tribe, the blood explosion teleportation technique. By erupting with a drop of blood essence, they could move quickly and forcefully escape. As soon as the blood explosion teleportation technique appeared, they were all about to disappear from their original spots. Their speed was shocking. However, they were fast, but the other party was even faster. Unfortunately, Xiaoran's Great Void Chaos Steps was even faster. He instantly surpassed everyone. What? The elders' pupils constricted, and their breathing froze. Before they could react, the other party's lightning bolt fist had already landed on them. The punch was monstrous. With just one punch, it struck them down. Boom, boom, boom. The few elders were all sent flying back and smashed fiercely onto the ground. Each of them created a huge pit on the ground. PFF'd. Everyone almost spat out a mouthful of blood in unison. Their clothes were all destroyed, and the bones in their chests had even collapsed. They looked incomparably tragic, even worse than the beggars on the street. Fang Tianyuan's pupils constricted, his heart raced, and he was so shocked that his breathing almost stopped. At this moment, he could only see the figure standing in the air. Powerful, invincible, it filled him with admiration. Geniuses were all arrogant and would never submit to anyone. However, at this moment, Fang Tianyuan felt that he was willing to submit to this expert in front of him. The few elders crawled up miserably, their minds collapsing to the limit, and they begged trembling. "Senior, please spare us. We really did not know that Senior was here and disturbed you. Senior, please forgive us." However, before they could finish speaking, another sword beam slashed down unreasonably. This sword beam emitted a light that was as dazzling as the stars in the galaxy. It seemed to be even stronger than the sun, making it difficult for people to open their eyes and not dare to look directly. Boom! The sword move smashed mercilessly onto the few elders and mercilessly struck them with an unstoppable momentum. Waves exploded, and sword aura spread everywhere. In an instant, the few elders were directly slashed to death by this invincible sword aura. In fact, the powerful sword aura did not lose its momentum and forcefully slashed out a huge rift more than 1,000 meters long. Boom! The ground began to tremble. Fang Tianyuan's heart throbbed even more. What kind of god was this? Without saying a word, the other party had unleashed such a killing move. The other party had killed all the elders who were chasing him with just 2 consecutive attacks. It had to be known that the cultivation levels of these elders were all above his. Each of them had the strength of the 6th or 7th level of the Mountain Sea realm. In the entire Great Zhou, they were already an impressive force. However, they were all wiped out in just 2 moves. How powerful was that? How domineering was that? How majestic was that? He was simply extraordinarily powerful and decisive. An expert. This was an absolute expert. A rare expert. At this moment, the other party had already landed. Fang Tianyuan was about to go forward and kneel to express his gratitude when he saw the other party walk quickly to the corpses of the few elders. "Say, Senior." Fang Tianyuan was suddenly at a loss, not knowing what the other party wanted to do. "Don't panic." The other party waved his hand, indicating for Fang Tianyuan to calm down. Just as Fang Tianyuan was feeling puzzled, he saw the expert suddenly attack the corpses of the ancient ape tribe elders and unleash a move. Mahayana Vajra Fist, Snow-Slaying Sword Art. Invincible Vajra Palm, Violent Wind Lion Roar. Kama. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Fang Tianyuan was immediately puzzled. What was this senior doing? They were already deader than dead. Why did this senior still use his cultivation technique again and again to break their corpses into pieces? What was he trying to do? A moment later, all the elders' corpses had been shattered into dust. Only then did the other party slowly stop. Fang Tianyuan heaved a sigh of relief and thought to himself, it should be over now, right? However, the next moment, he saw the other party make another hand seal. Moon-slaying gale dance. Quick. After the order was given, a violent wind immediately blew away the ashes of the few elders. Quote. Fang Tianyuan was completely speechless. Wasn't it a little too much to not even let go of the ashes? However, the other party was still a senior expert who had saved him after all, so he could not say anything. He took a deep breath and was prepared to go forward to thank him. However, before he could step forward, the other party set up another array formation. This is the Soul Convergence Formation. Fang Tianyuan was dumbfounded once again. What was the point of setting up the Soul Convergence Formation at this moment? Then, he saw the other party use the Soul Convergence Formation to gather the souls of the few elders. Then, another powerful thunderous punch swept out and shattered their souls into dust. Fang Tianyuan, could this senior be a pervert? After doing all of this, the other party finally stopped and stretched leisurely. We're safe now. Fang Tianyuan almost vomited blood. At this moment, the image of a respected expert he had built up had already been destroyed. He was already starting to doubt his life. This guy was not a god. He might be a lunatic. That's right, he was definitely crazy. If he wasn't crazy, he would have stopped after killing them, let alone go that far. He had killed the enemies, destroyed their corpses, scattered their ashes, and then brought back their souls just to destroy them again. He did not miss anything. He was already beyond cure. Heavens, what a strange existence was this? Was there a need to do this when he was already so powerful? Putting aside the fact that he was much stronger than them, was there really a need to deal with the lifeless corpses? Was it necessary? Was it necessary? Was it necessary? Fang Tianyuan's little head was dizzy and he was completely unable to understand the senior's actions. He was even a little afraid and wanted to run. Unfortunately, it was already too late. The other party had already targeted him. Hello, nice to meet you. Let me introduce you. My name is Xiaoran. Seeing Xiaoran smile, Fang Tianyuan trembled in fear and immediately bent down to respond. I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare. Junior Fang Tianyuan greets Senior Liu. He looked sincere and respectful, afraid that Xiaoran would do to him what he did to them. Xiaoran nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. You're humble and polite. You're a good seedling. How about it? Are you interested in becoming my disciple? Chapter 22. The Pain of 998. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Fang Tianyuan was stunned. He did not expect the other party to actually want to take him as a disciple. If Xiaoran had only killed those few elders of the ancient ape tribe, he would definitely kneel down and worship him as his master without hesitation. However, Xiaoran's subsequent actions made him hesitate. This guy was indeed powerful, but his brain seemed to have a problem. Was it really reliable for him to learn from him? Stop daydreaming. Are you willing to be my disciple? Xiaoran asked again. Fang Tianyuan was silent for a moment before carefully saying. Then, what will happen if I refuse? If you refuse, it's fine. I don't like to force people. Although Xiaoran said it very nicely, Fang Tianyuan could clearly sense a powerful spirit energy constantly condensing in Xiaoran's right hand. This made Fang Tianyuan's face twitch fiercely. Based on his previous actions, Fang Tianyuan knew that what Xiaoran said was not true at all. He knew that if he refused, he would be deader than dead in the next second. Therefore, without any other choice, Fang Tianyuan immediately knelt on the ground. Junior Fang Tianyuan is willing to take you as his master. Ding, congratulations on obtaining an SSS level disciple. Reward. Top grade martial Monarch realm cultivation technique, indestructible golden body. Reward. Top grade martial Monarch realm weapon, void shattering hammer. Single quote. Hearing that the other party had become his disciple and Wang Kai had given out the rewards, Xiaoran finally revealed a loving smile again. The spirit energy in his right hand also instantly disappeared. He patted Zhou Hao's head and said happily, good, you sure are a good disciple. Get up quickly. Only then did Fang Tianyuan heave a sigh of relief and slowly stand up. Master, which sect are you from? I'm from the Heaven Demon Sect. Heaven Demon Sect. Fang Tianyuan was stunned. He had heard of the Heaven Demon Sect before. After all, everyone lived in the same area. However, did the Heaven Demon Sect have a figure like Xiaoran? The strongest people in the Heaven Demon Sect seemed to be the Sect Master and the Grand Elder. However, their cultivation levels should not exceed the 5th level of the Shattering Void Realm. The Lu Xiaoran in front of him was clearly not one of the two. However, the cultivation Lu Xiaoran demonstrated just now was far stronger than his father's, which was only at the Void Reversion Realm. He was definitely not at the Creation Realm but an expert above the Shattering Void Realm. Could it be that the Heaven Demon Sect was filled with hidden experts? Could there be some unknown secret? Just as he was feeling puzzled, Lu Xiaoran's voice sounded again. That's right, I'm from the Heaven Demon Sect. This is not a place to talk. Let's go, I'll bring you out of here first. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xiaoran flicked his finger and passed a medicinal pill to Fang Tianyuan. This is the essence restoring pill. It can instantly heal all your injuries. Let's go. Hiss. Essence restoring pill. Fang Tianyuan's heart trembled as his eyes widened. The essence restoring pill was a healing medicinal pill. No matter how much damage one's body suffered, as long as one consumed a single essence restoring pill, they would completely recover in the shortest period of time without leaving behind any sequelae. Moreover, although the essence restoring pill was only a low-grade Heaven Realm medicinal pill, the raw materials were rare and it was extremely difficult to be refined. The market supply was insufficient, so it was very expensive and very difficult to buy one. However, his master had given him an essence restoring pill. He was truly generous. However, if someone had given it to him when he still had his status as the heir of the ancient ape tribe, he would not be so shocked. However, the problem was that at this moment, he was only an insignificant disciple who had just been accepted into the sect. The weight of this greeting gift was not ordinary. Eat quickly. We have to leave quickly to avoid being discovered. Oh, I understand. Fang Tianyuan immediately swallowed the essence restoring pill. The medicinal pill entered his body and refreshed his mind. A warm feeling wrapped around his wound like a flowing spring, nourishing his wound and gradually making it heal. Master, where are we going now? Acacia faction. Yes. Lu Xiaoran walked in front, and Fang Tianyuan immediately followed behind. The two of them had just left the forest when Lu Xiaoran turned around and used the burning heaven palm again, burning the entire forest into an endless fire. This scene made Fang Tianyuan speechless again. Could this master's zodiac sign be a rat? Just now, he had already burned the bones of those elders and shattered their souls. Yet, he still wanted to burn the entire forest. Wasn't he being too cautious? However, he did not dare to casually slander his master. This was because although his master had some problems, his cultivation was still impressive. The two of them quickly arrived near the Acacia faction. Lu Xiaoran told Fang Tianyuan to guard in the distance and not to casually approach. He also threw him a mask. The people from the ancient ape tribe still don't know if you're dead or not. The Acacia faction has a mix of good and bad people. If you get exposed, there will be a risk. Wait here, I'll go and find your uncle master. Yes. After experiencing the previous incident, Fang Tianyuan was already used to his master's cautiousness. He even felt that it made sense. This made him feel that this master's habits were somewhat contagious. After Lu Xiaoran made arrangements for Fang Tianyuan, he quickly arrived at the entrance of the Acacia faction. However, before he entered, he saw Li Doran hugging his legs and squatting at the entrance of the Acacia faction. He looked like a little girl who had been wronged, and there were 2 more hickeys on his neck. Beside him was the fairy who had welcomed them in previously. She was squatting beside him and consoling him. Grandpa Li, our elder Zhang Dazhuang looks a little shabby, but her massage techniques are really top-notch in our Acacia faction. We definitely didn't cheat you of your spirit stones. Li Doran was furious. Bull *****. What do you mean a little shabby? Her figure is even more robust than our Heaven Demon Sect's forging elder. Her face shape is even more manly than our Heaven Demon Sect's disciple guarding the mountain. How can you call that a little shabby? Do you know why I came here to spend money? Don't you know very well what I'm doing here? If you give me a girl with such a hideous face, aren't you just scamming me of my money? Alright, Master Li, don't be angry. Why don't I arrange 2 more 198 girls for you? If you're willing to increase the price, I can also give you some excitement. Forget it. When I arrived, I was in high spirits and was filled with anticipation. Now that I've been tortured by you guys, I don't have any thoughts at all. I couldn't even pee just now. Even if you get the best girl in your Acacia faction to strip naked and lie in front of me, I will still not be in the mood. What's going on, old Li? At this moment, Lu Xiaoran's appearance made Li Doran feel as if he had found a glimmer of hope. The large tear bead immediately couldn't help but burst. Woo woo woo, old Lu, you're finally back. Their Acacia faction is bullying us. Woo woo woo. Chapter 23, Big Trouble. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Lu Xiaoran was rather speechless. Tell me what happened first. Woo woo woo, they assigned me a huge ugly woman. She's even uglier than our Heaven Demon Sect's blacksmith master, Elder Huang. She disgusts me to death and even planted 2 hickeys on my neck. Woo woo woo. Can't you get a different girl? That woman refused to let me get another girl. She said that it wasn't easy for her to get work. I said that I would pay her what I promised, but she still refused to let me leave. After that, she even gave me 2 hickeys. She said that if I didn't allow it, she wouldn't let me go. Lu Xiaoran, can't you just leave by force? I wanted to, but that woman is an elder of the Acacia faction and an expert at the first level of the Mountain Sea realm. Woo woo woo, I can't beat her. Lu Xiaoran looked at the fairy beside her. The fairy said apologetically, I'm really sorry. That's an elder of our Acacia faction. Us disciples have no right to manage him. If Master Li really feels wronged, you can also file a complaint. Where can I do that? You can go to the Great Zhou Imperial City and the Acacia faction headquarters. However, our Acacia faction is a proper entertainment and leisure place. You can only complain about their massage skills, not their appearance, therefore, there have been no violations. Even if you complain, you won't be able to do anything. Lu Xiaoran, this much was expected from a big company that had a monopoly. The other similar sects in the Great Zhou Empire were basically small sects. Some of them did not qualify and were even cleaned up by the officials of the Great Zhou Empire. Basically, the Acacia faction was the only one that dominated. Therefore, Li Doran was completely speechless today. Lu Xiaoran patted Li Doran on the shoulder and consoled. Let's forget about it this time. We won't lower ourselves to their level. In the future, we won't come to the Acacia faction again. Li Doran said angrily, that's right. In the future, even if I don't get to touch a woman in the future, I won't come to the Acacia faction again. Alright, let's hurry back to the sect. We've been out for most of the day. I wonder if the sect already carried out the array formation assessment. Let's go. Li Doran left the Acacia faction angrily. When the two of them arrived outside the Acacia faction, Feng Tianyuan immediately approached. Master. Li Doran was stunned. He pointed at Feng Tianyuan and said to Lu Xiaoran, Xiaoran, this is the disciple I just took in. His name is Feng Tianyuan. Tianyuan, this is Li Doran, your uncle master. Feng Tianyuan immediately cupped his hands and said, greetings, uncle master. So you're my martial nephew. Tisk tisk, you're indeed worthy of being a disciple that my senior brother Lu has taken a fancy to. Look at this talent. In the future, I think you'll at least be able to cultivate to the Mountain Sea realm. The corners of Feng Tianyuan's mouth twitched. He was currently at the first level of the Mountain Sea realm. However, the other party was his senior, so he couldn't expose him on the spot and embarrass Li Doran. Thank you for your praise, Uncle Master Li. Yes, not bad, you're quite humble. Here, take this greeting gift. In the next moment, Li Doran took out a small storage bag and handed it to him. Thank you, Uncle Master. Feng Tianyuan received the storage bag and swept his thoughts over it. Immediately, his hair stood on end. It was actually 6,666 high-grade spirit stones. Hiss. Wasn't this gift a little too generous? Were the people of the Heaven Demon Sect also generous? Previously, his master had casually taken out an essence-restoring pill. Now, his uncle Master Li even casually gave away 6,666 high-grade spirit stones. Even in the ancient ape such a gift would still be considered as generous. Looks like there were indeed many experts in the Heaven Demon Sect. As a mere first-level Mountain Sea Realm cultivator, he decided that he should keep a low profile from now on. It was also because he had now become Lu Xiaoran's disciple. Li Doran had obtained 200,000 high-grade spirit stones because of Lu Xiaoran and was thinking of repaying him. If it were anyone else, it would already be generous of Li Doran to give away 6 high-grade spirit stones. At this moment, a few figures suddenly rushed over from afar. They were all wearing the Heaven Demon Sect's elder and disciple uniforms. The person in the lead was Lu Xiaoran and Li Doran's old friend, Lin Jia. Doran, Xiaoran, I've finally found the two of you. Lin Jia, why are you here? Lin Jia's expression was solemn. The two of you are really careless. How could you guys come to the Acacia faction to fool around before the elders could even check the array formation? Something big has happened in the sect. Li Doran was shocked. What happened? Could it be that the mountain gate was attacked and the array formation has failed? That's not it. What else could it be? First Elder, Elder Huang, and some other disciples are all trapped in the sect protecting formation. What? Li Doran was so shocked that his jaw almost fell off. Are you kidding me? Can't they break through that formation? Lin Jia rolled her eyes at him angrily. Even I had to use the sect's life-saving array to teleport out to find the two of you. Do you think I'm joking? Damn, old Lu, aren't you too awesome? Lu Xiaoran touched his nose and was somewhat speechless. He had only used 50% of his strength. He did not expect that even the first elder would get trapped. It seemed that he had still underestimated the strength of his array formation and overestimated the strength of the people from the Heaven Demon Sect. However, that was not right. After all, didn't they have a token? The intelligent Lu Xiaoran had already thought of something. Let's not talk about this first. I told you to give the token to your disciple. Did you not do as I said? Li Doran scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. I thought you were just repairing the array formation. In any case, the repaired array formation would be similar to the previous array formation. It's impossible for the elders to not be able to pass through. Moreover, I was too anxious and didn't have the time to pass it on. As soon as he finished speaking, a few more figures rushed over from a distance. These were also elders from the Heaven Demon Sect. After arriving, they shouted breathlessly. Ha, ha, I've finally found the two of you. Hurry up and return to the sect. Something big has happened. Li Doran was confused. What is it now? The sect master just came out of seclusion and tried to test the sect protecting formation. He broke through the third layer but was injured by the attacking formation in the second layer. He's now trapped in the second layer. What, even the sect master got trapped? As soon as Li Doran finished speaking, another group of people from the Heaven Demon Sect rushed over. Something bad has happened. The Grand Elder and a few other elders have also come out of seclusion and also tried to break through the third and second layer. In the end, they were trapped by the illusionary array of the first layer. Now, the entire sect is in a mess, waiting for the two of you to return and save them. Ah, no way, even the Grand Elder can't pass. What a joke. The sect master and the Grand Elder are both top-notch experts at the Shattering Void Realm. Lu Xiaoran glared at him angrily. How dare you say that, you idiot. If we go back now, we'll probably have to be punished. As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately rushed towards the sect. The others immediately followed. Fang Tianyuan also followed, but a storm surged in his heart. Originally, he thought that his master might be an expert at the Shattering Void Realm. However, it now seemed that his master's cultivation level had probably far surpassed the Shattering Void Realm. Just what was his master's cultivation level? Chapter 24, Arrangements. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. The group rushed back to the Heaven Demon Sect as quickly as possible. From afar, they saw an extremely dignified old man with white hair and beard kowtowing incessantly in the illusion formation. Dad, Mom, I'm a useless disappointment. I've cultivated for more than 500 years, but I'm only at the third level of the Shattering Void Realm. I've embarrassed you too. Even Yang Renji from the Reliance Sect next door is at 5th level of the Shattering Void Realm. Woo woo woo. Seeing this, everyone immediately felt a chill run down their spines. Is that the Grand Elder? It's the Grand Elder. Yang Renji is the Grand Elder of the Reliance Sect. Only the Grand Elder dares to refer to the Grand Elder of the Reliance Sect by his actual name. This array formation is really too ruthless. Even a Shattering Void Realm expert like the Grand Elder is trapped inside. I don't even dare to imagine what would happen to us if we were trapped inside instead. Lu Xiaoran slapped his forehead. Stop talking, I'll go and undo the array formation now. As soon as he finished speaking, he quickly stepped forward and undid the array formation. The Grand Elder who was kneeling on the ground and kowtowing and wailing immediately stopped and turned to look at everyone. At this moment, the air fell into a deathly silence. A moment later, he slowly got up and casually patted the dust on his knees. Then, he said, Did you guys hear what I just said? Everyone shook their heads. No, we just arrived. The Grand Elder snorted. What are you pretending for? I'm not stupid. Everyone looked at each other. Then, the Grand Elder continued, I don't care if you heard it or not. If word gets out about what happened today, I can guarantee that everyone here will wish they were dead. Everyone immediately felt their necks turn cold. They immediately stood up and shouted in unison, Please don't worry, Grand Elder. We definitely won't tell anyone. Good. As soon as he finished speaking, the Grand Elder placed his hands behind his back and stomped his foot, causing his figure to instantly vanish on the spot. Only then did everyone heave a sigh of relief. They used their sleeves to wipe the cold sweat on their foreheads. Lu Xiaoran did not dare to delay and continued to rush to the second layer of the array formation. The second layer of the array formation was an attack array. Sitting inside was the Heaven Demon Sect Master. He had already opened his spirit energy protective barrier to resist the attack of the attack array. His clothes were already tattered in many places, and there were even bruises in some places. Clearly, he had also suffered a lot. Lu Xiaoran hurriedly retracted the array formation. The Sect Master, who was on guard, immediately heaved a sigh of relief and opened his eyes. Good lord, you're finally back. Lu Xiaoran cupped his hands and said, Sect Master, this was my fault. We'll discuss this later. I'll go back to the hall to change first. After you save the first elder, immediately rush to the sect hall with Li Doran. Yes. As he spoke, the sect master also quickly returned to the sect. Lu Xiaoran quickly arrived at the third layer of the array formation. The first elder, Elder Huang, and the other disciples were trapped here. Lu Xiaoran made a hand seal and quickly dispelled the power of the array formation. Finally, everyone could breathe and regain their freedom. Heavens, I'm finally fine. My bones feel so stiff. The first elder stretched his body, and Lu Xiaoran went forward to apologize. Elder Huang, first elder, I'm sorry. I was careless. Good brat, you're the one who set up the array. You ruined my blind date. I'll fight you to the death. Elder Huang was so furious that he raised his fist and was about to step forward to beat Lu Xiaoran up when he was stopped by the first elder. Stop, Huang. This matter needs to be judged by the sect master. You can't punish him in private. Huang was furious, but there was nothing he could do. He still had to listen to the first elder. Therefore, he could only retract his fist and glare fiercely at Lu Xiaoran. Consider yourself lucky, HMPH. I'll go to the sect master now and get him to punish you. You won't be able to bear the consequences. Elder Huang turned around and left. The first elder looked at Lu Xiaoran meaningfully and said, "You and Li Doran, come with me to the hall." Yes. However, I just accepted a new disciple and want to send him back to Zishui Peak before heading to the hall. Then come back quickly. Thank you, first elder. Lu Xiaoran cupped his hands in thanks and said to Fang Tianyuan, quickly follow me to Zishui Peak. Understood. The master and disciple quickly returned to Zishui Peak. Young Leah was probably cultivating, and Ji Wuxia was recording some notes. Greetings, master. Seeing Lu Xiaoran arrive, Ji Wuxia immediately went forward and bowed with cupped hands. Lu Xiaoran raised his hand slightly and helped Ji Wuxia up with his spirit energy. It's good that you're here. Tianyuan, this is your second senior sister, Ji Wuxia. Wuxia, this is the disciple I just took in. His name is Fang Tianyuan and he can be considered your junior brother. So it's junior brother Tianyuan. Junior brother greets senior sister Wuxia. The two of them greeted each other and Lu Xiaoran continued, to cut the long story short, I might suffer a lot of punishment this time. It's even very likely that I'll be imprisoned in the forbidden area in the back of the mountain to reflect on my actions. I'm afraid it'll be a while before I can return. If you need me, you can go to the back mountain of the sect to find me. Otherwise, you have to strictly abide by my teachings and don't casually leave Zishui Peak. The two of them could not help but be shocked. Master, is it that serious? Lu Xiaoran smiled bitterly. After causing such a huge commotion, I don't think they'll let me off. I was the one who was mainly in charge of repairing the array formation. After finishing the repairs, I didn't report directly and instead neglected my duty and went off to the Acacia faction, causing the top brass of the sect to lose face. No matter how you look at it, I'll definitely get punished. Of course, in terms of cultivation, he was definitely not afraid of the sect master or even the Grand Elder. In fact, even if the two of them attacked him together, he would still not be afraid. However, Lu Xiaoran did not want to casually reveal his strength. If news of him becoming a shattering Void Realm expert in a short 10 years spread, who knew how many people would covet him? As the saying went, hunters will shoot the bird that sticks out. Therefore, in order to continue living like before in the Heaven Demon sect, he decided to not keep his true strength hidden for now. As he spoke, Lu Xiaoran raised his hand and tapped the space between Fang Tianyuan's brows, transmitting the indestructible golden body to him. Tianyuan, I'm afraid that if I enter seclusion, I won't be able to give you the cultivation technique in time and delay your cultivation. Therefore, I'll pass the cultivation technique to you first. You have to cultivate diligently and not slack off. Yes, I understand. Fang Tianyuan answered casually but did not look at the information of this cultivation technique. As the heir of the ancient ape tribe, he was used to cultivating the best cultivation technique of the ancient ape tribe. It was a peerless cultivation technique that was above the top-grade heaven realm and was almost at the quasi-saint realm. It was extremely rare, so how could the cultivation technique Lu Xiaoran gave him compare to it? Chapter 25. Senior Sister's Secret. Translator. Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios. Now, Fang Tianyuan only wanted to find a quiet place to cultivate and wait for the opportunity to take revenge. After Lu Xiaoran finished imparting the cultivation technique, he continued, Wuxia, you're in charge of explaining the rules of the Heaven Demon sect and the rules of Zishui Peak to your junior brother. During my absence, you have to properly guide your junior brother's cultivation. Yes, then you guys chat first. I'm going to the hall. Goodbye, master. Lu Xiaoran left Zishui Peak and quickly rushed towards the hall. After Lu Xiaoran left, Ji Wuxia immediately explained the rules of the Heaven Demon sect in Zishui Peak to Fang Tianyuan. After hearing the so-called ignoble theory, Fang Tianyuan was not too surprised. He was not surprised at all considering it came from a master like Lu Xiaoran. He had a deep understanding of his master's methods. However, just as Ji Wuxia finished explaining the rules, a chaotic aura suddenly sounded from Yunlia's room. Ji Wuxia was stunned before her expression changed slightly. Why is this aura so chaotic? Not good. Could it be that something went wrong with eldest senior brother's cultivation and he is now experiencing berserk chi deviation? Tianyuan, stay here. I'll go take a look. Yes. Ji Wuxia quickly left, and Fang Tianyuan took a look around to adapt to the new environment. Although his senior sister's house was not like those lavish boudoirs and was relatively simple, it was still a girl's boudoir and was relatively clean. It was pleasing to the eye. Hey, what's this? Fang Tianyuan's attention was quickly attracted by a small book on Ji Wuxia's table. He walked forward and couldn't help but smile when he saw the words on it. I didn't expect senior sister Ji to be someone who likes to take notes. Out of curiosity, Fang Tianyuan opened the first page of the notebook. The first page recorded everything that Ji Wuxia had said just now. There were rules regarding the Heaven Demon Sect in Zishui Peak. Fang Tianyuan only took a look and flipped over. There were more things recorded on the second page. One of them was Yunlia's cultivation and how it had already broken through to the second level of the spirit realm. The notes also mentioned that Ji Wuxia's cultivation level was currently at the fourth level of the spirit realm. At the same time, she also recorded the time the two of them had cultivated. Isn't the speed of their advancement a little too fast? They basically advance by one realm level per month. Although it's only a realm level, it's still a realm level of the spirit realm and not a realm level of an entry-level realm like the body refining realm. Even back then, when I was cultivating in the spirit realm, I could only increase one realm level in 2 months. That was even with my father's help and the use of countless precious medicinal herbs to temper my body, not to mention I worked extremely hard and even received the cultivation of some of my clansmen before they died of old age. But they're actually improving by one realm level in 1 month. This speed is somewhat exaggerated. Then, Fang Tianyuan flipped to the third page. When he saw the information recorded in the notebook, his eyes instantly widened, and the hair on his body stood up. He couldn't help but gasp. Hiss. He learned that his eldest senior brother cultivated a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique, Primordial Chaos Emperor Scripture. On the other hand, Ji Wuxia also cultivated a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique, True Phoenix 9 Transformations. What kind of joke is this? How could they possibly have a martial monarch realm cultivation technique? Moreover, it's a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. This is impossible, absolutely impossible. Fang Tianyuan shook his head repeatedly. Just an martial monarch realm cultivation technique was already extremely rare and precious, let alone a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. This was simply unbelievable. In the entire continent, probably only the royal family or a top-notch ancient family would have a cultivation technique of this level. At most, the sect master of a small heaven demon sect could cultivate a low-level saint realm cultivation technique. It was simply a fool's dream to obtain a martial monarch realm cultivation technique. That's not right. Their cultivation speed is so fast. It doesn't seem like they can reach this kind of speed with ordinary cultivation techniques, right? As his mind reacted, Fang Tianyuan's heart suddenly started beating faster. Gulp. He swallowed a mouthful of saliva and carefully mobilized his divine sense to investigate the cultivation technique his master had just imparted to him. Of course, when he came into contact with that cultivation technique, he was immediately shocked. The cultivation technique circulated very quickly and powerfully. What could it be other than a martial monarch realm cultivation technique? Heavens, Master actually gave me a martial monarch realm cultivation technique. Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Slap. Fang Tianyuan slapped himself. Hiss. It hurts. Fang Tianyuan grimaced in pain, but he did not care about the pain. Instead, he was overjoyed. Ha 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 ha, this was real, this was real. He was not dreaming, he had actually obtained a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. This was simply unimaginable, a huge opportunity. By the way, I wonder if there are any other secrets. Fang Tianyuan hurriedly flipped to the next page of the notebook. When he saw the page, his already shocked mind fell into an even greater shock. According to Ji Wuxia estimation, their master's cultivation level was at least peak level martial monarch realm. Master's cultivation is at least at the martial monarch realm. Fang Tianyuan was petrified. He had actually acknowledged a martial monarch realm expert as his master. Was there a mistake? A martial monarch realm expert? That was a legendary existence. The peak of cultivation in the world. There might not even be a single martial monarch realm expert in the entire Great Zhou imperial family. And now, his master was actually an expert of this level. Fang Tianyuan wondered what good deeds he had done in the past to be so lucky in this lifetime. At this moment, Fang Tianyuan's heart was filled with respect and worship for Lu Xiaoran. He did not have any other thoughts. He closed Ji Wuxia's notebook piously and took a deep breath before stepping out. To be able to become a disciple of a martial monarch realm expert and even be given a top-grade martial monarch realm cultivation technique. How could he waste such a heaven-sent opportunity? From today onwards, he decided to cultivate diligently and not let his master down. Ji Wuxia smiled and walked over. She started to speak before even arriving. He scared me to death. I thought that eldest senior brother had gone crazy. It turns out that he comprehended the profound meaning of the cultivation technique and increased his cultivation speed. As she spoke, she bumped into Fang Tianyuan. Seeing Fang Tianyuan's swollen face and the bright red palm print, she could not help but ask curiously, "Junior brother Tianyuan, what happened to your face?" Fang Tianyuan took a deep breath and said, "That's not important. What's important is that I've found my goal. I'm going to cultivate. Senior sister, if there's nothing else, please don't disturb me." "Oh, alright, then do you want a house? Eldest senior brother and I will help you build one. Consider it a gift. There's no need. Cultivators should treat the world as their home and broaden their spiritual energy. A house will only hinder my cultivation speed.